All right. I look a mess, but that's okay. Baby. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this live up, but what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Baby, that panel, I'm not gonna hold you. Like I said in my commentary or my exit, I was preparing myself for the smoke. No shade. Okay. I literally got my piece, right? I got my piece that passes all understanding next to me on this table. I just felt it safe to my heart to have. I was prepared for the smoke because I understand how fear and ignorance mixed together causes destruction. And we've been playing in this cycle of destruction for so long, arguing back and forth with each other. But now you don't have an excuse. You have a queer person that can be respectful, but also give you the smoke too, and the passion, the fire. You cannot deny queer people's existence. You cannot deny it. You can round up all the queer people in the world, murder their ass, and build a big ass Wakanda shield around planet Earth, baby. Queer energy will still be born into the earth. And when we do our research objectively, not just from one perspective, that's why it pays. That's why it's good to pay attention to other people and to listen so that you can learn something. I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything, but the shit that I do talk about, I do know. I don't get up here and spew shit out the side of my damn neck. That's not what I do. And for those who are subscribed to me and see the quality of my work, even though it's very few, I put in the work on this. While there are people that have opinions and perspectives about my experience, I'm living the experience. But I also understand that conversations like this need to be had. That's why I love weed. That's another reason why I love weed. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. I was respectful. They said you're not supposed to cut your camera off and smoke on the camera, but I mean, hell, I'm gay. So apparently y'all think I'm breaking the rules anyway. So I might as well be all the way radical then with the shit. Like, no, but I am proud of that conversation. Even though I felt like if we didn't have the back and forth, and no shade, let me speak about Nev. It's not right, but it's okay. It's not right, but it's okay, because how many times on Black Men Unfiltered, the last live they did, I guess it was the barbershop talk, so I guess the barbershop talk, all things off. Invite me to the barbershop talk. That's what I want to be. I want to be on a place where y'all going to be throwing them bowls for real. I want that type of smoke. But on their show with Tyrell, who is an individual who is a heterosexual, cisgendered man who has children, who still honors and respects queer people's existence and really don't give a fuck. You had other men coming on the panel calling him, you bitch ass nigga, you bitch ass nigga. They did not correct him. But see, I get it. I have to remind myself where I'm at. Okay? That was me. Now, girl, no shade. I appreciate Kevin, because I thought they was going to try to use detransitioning as a way, as if though like we was going to be fighting for children to get their shit cut off, and we was like, no, we agree the same way you do. But there's other ways to allow your trans child to be without. And I asked the question, okay, fuck the, because y'all main focus is the children. It's nothing new, but it's the children. That's your main focus, right? And I use the analogy of agreeing with them and saying, okay, let's go ahead and take surgery out. Let's take medicine out. All these things that, yes, the pharmaceutical company does bank on, because we're not finna sit up here and act like it's just trans people getting shit cut off. It's women getting all type of motherfucking BBLs and Brazilian butt, that's what it BBL, Brazilian butt lift, and all type of damn surgeries and new titties and all this shit, because they're trying to fit this social construct of what they believe or what they've been indoctrinated to believe that a woman is, or what adds to a woman's value. So I said, if we were to remove all of that so you can't use that anymore, would you at least let your trans child dress in the sex of the opposite? I mean, dress in the garments of the opposite sex or social construct? Because you can at least take the clothes off. You can't redo the surgery. We had a medical professional, shout out to him, the Renaissance man who came up there from a medical perspective. I can't deny that. That's fact there. I'm an honest ass person. What's up, Lala? I appreciate his perspective. But if you were to remove all of that, will you allow them to wear the clothes? They can take the clothes off. The hair, take the hair off. And these men said they would knock the fuck. And we're talking about protecting children. You're trying to protect heterosexual children. And we talk about this, oh, let's go ahead and remove sexualization. Y'all not ready to do that because heterosexual people sexualize their children all the time. There are videos of little boys in Hooters who see girls and be looking at them. When we see videos of little toddlers, a boy and a girl, the boy walks up to the girl and kisses her on the cheek or the lips or something. Oh my God, that's so cute. Oh my God. When a lot of women see a boy, a young child, a young boy, oh my God, he's gonna be a heartbreaker when he grows up. I just know. Let's look at the children's movies. All of the children's movie had a romantic concept to it, and it was all heterosexual. Let's go down the list, shall we, of Disney classics. Mulan, and Chiffon, I think that's his name. Heterosexual love interest. Let's take Toy Story. Officer Woody and Lil Bo Peep, heterosexual love story. Shrek and his wife, heterosexual. Hell, y'all talk about bestiality. Beauty and the Beast. And hell, we even went down to the animal kingdom with goddamn Simba and Nala. And me growing up in the 90s without the queer representation that is so in people's faces today and shoved down their throats. Like I said, I grew up in a house with I literally have a lot. See, that's how I know I can talk with validity about the experience of being queer. Because if we're going to sit here and say that you can pull up some research and some information about queerness that queer people don't understand, then I guess white people can do it too. If we're going to use that logic. But see, because I'm black, how dare I say that? Because black people have been the most discriminated against. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Black people, I will not deny, is the blueprint or the prototype when it comes to slavery in this country. Black people's blood, sweat, and tears was the down payment to pay for America. And now that America is going on and it's a fucking corporation that monopolizes on every aspect of our lives, is going to oppress other people, including women and queer people. And I brought up the example about the Black Panther Party because somebody brought up the militant manifesto, and I brought up the militant black men that a lot of people want to be, to aspire to be, to actually have the balls. And we talk about balls so much. Balls is the most precious thing on a male body. If you flick that motherfucker a little bit, oh man, on the floor. But those strong black militant men literally said they want to be politically minded with queer people and women. But what we're doing, and I can admit that we have done this collectively, is that to satiate our fears, satiate our fears and justify our fears, will bring up the most dramatic extreme, the minority within a minority, within a minority, within a minority, and then lift them up. Y'all are pressed about queer people having representation, and we are the smaller group. How is the smaller group going to erase the whole? People brought up Rome and all the downfall of Rome. Did the whole world become gay? There's children being born right now. And someone on the panel brought up how many heterosexual people have illegitimate children. But that's okay. Because we're going to have those conversations. And I'm one of the people. I was able to accomplish what I manifested. Y'all, when I tell y'all I had lit my candle today, put my oil in my candle, and I did affirmations talking about just have truth reign and justice reign. That's what I want. Truth and justice to reign. Any fear that is there, let it be exposed. That's why I was quiet. That's why I wanted everybody to speak, because I wanted to hear where everybody was coming from first, so I can make the proper analysis, as opposed to allow myself to be triggered. Like, no shade, how Nev triggered the fuck. Okay, out of Miss I'm delivered. Okay, I don't like men's no more. You know, the white edition. You know, in Dreamgirls we're singing, "Got me a Cadillac car," that type of shit. But there's no excuse now. I was on the panel, and it's going to take queer people going into these spaces with black people and to say, "Hey, we exist, and we need to find a way to coexist." Because the ignorance that a lot of these people are playing on a reference to the children is actually harming children. Now, as far as the people out there in the medical community who, again, are not uplifting the Hippocratic Oath, which means I'm here to to hurt and not harm. Excuse me. I'm here to help and not harm. There are people in the medical industry, because there are people, let's be real, that go to college and get degrees and shit, not because they love it and I want to do it, but because I want the money. I want the money, because money is a necessity, unfortunately, in this country. And when the more money you have, the more time you have. So there are going to be some people are going to lie. Is not the medical industry like in the top 5 percentile of deaths in America? And on top of that, people wouldn't have to get their titties lifted up and they ass fat and they stomach sucked out and all this other type of shit if we didn't judge people and allow people to be who the fuck they want to be. They wouldn't have to go to such extreme lengths to be identified. Trans people go through the experience to identify as the social construct of a woman. And then we conflict gender and sex and all that other type of stuff to where it becomes very confusing. We can remove all of the fact of trans people having to go through all of these surgeries just to fit into society. And then on top of that, hello, did we not just have a heterosexual woman, cisgendered woman, biological woman who was murdered because she was thought of to be trans? It's a bunch of biological women that have Miss Pearly shit going on right now, thicker than mine. My beard can't even connect. I'm trying to shave some of this shit and make it look nice. And beard game be on fleek. I'm like, damn, bitch, you don't use no beard oil or nothing? And yes, these conversations are not going to happen in one live. This has to be a continuation. This has to be some consistent. There is a way that black people got to come together like we did. We are literally in the era of the 60s and the 70s. You have the oppressors saying, make America great again. When was America great again? When white people was able to do what the fuck they want to do collectively without being challenged. And I think the government even uses white supremacy as well. Because there are some white people, like Angry Snowman. I was going to say Snowflake, but Angry Snowman that came up on the panel. What's up, Aries? Make sure you look at the live, Aries. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was a lot better. I'm actually happy. Even though I want to be on the barbershop talk where they give all the smoke, because I'm ready for it too. No shade. No shade. Because there is homophobia and queerphobia, and we're going to address that. And you can talk about Jesus and God is love and all that stuff. Yes, he is, baby. But just like how y'all want to talk about certain things and deal with it, we're going to talk about all of it. Again, it's equality across the board. And I mean that. Because I'm going to live my gay leprechaun life. I'm going to have my partner. I'm going to have my family. And I understand that queerphobia will never be erased. I understand that. but I will defend myself and my family by all means. That's why I said as soon as my kids, when I do, God willing, have the opportunity to have a family and be all the way set in all my areas and intersections to provide for them, I'm going to make sure when they become of age, I'm going to put their ass in the self-defense class. Okay? I am. Because my children are not going to go through what the fuck I went through as a queer child. And even though they're not queer, they're going to have two daddies. And of course, you're going to have children. So you're talking about indoctrinating children. You're going to tell your children, oh, well, that's wrong. So the little child's going to go to my children and say, oh, my daddy said that's wrong. And I'm going to teach my children to say, okay, well, your daddy can believe what he want to believe. Because the opinion of his father and the reality of what's going on in the house are two entirely different things. So people are going to talk, let them talk. Now, when they start to overstep their boundary from verbal to physical, then that's when my daughter, and I'm going to tell her this, I might buy her ass ice cream after this. I might buy her some toys or something that she can play with after this, a video game or something. If somebody fucking with you and they put their hands on you, I don't give a fuck if it's male, female, or whatever. Pick up a desk. Pick up a thick-ass book. Grab a ruler. Pick up the chair. My children, in reference to self-defense of the queer phobia, you ain't got to teach your child how to accept and respect queer people. That's fine. Queer people will teach your child for you. And I'm talking about their peers. Because as me growing up as a queer child who did not know what queer was, the first time I heard the F word and the first time that I heard the viewpoints and perspectives on queerness and the words sissy and punk was from the church and from my heterosexual peers at the time. There were boys who were talking about masturbation and all that shit. And I didn't know what that was until I was like 13, 14 years old. I was a late bloomer to that stuff. I didn't have my first sexual encounter with a man until I was 18, where I lost my virginity. So where did the gayness come from? Where did it come from? Now I have some points I want to read because I had wrote some shit down. I'm gonna say what the hell I gotta say. They got a whole lot of model where they about to sit up here and tell us what they think the gay agenda is, and I'm interested to hear what that is. Let me look at y'all comments. Rocky says, let's see, that white man gay, such a nice nasty. I wasn't even paying attention, girl. I don't give a damn, girl. I don't care. I don't care, girl. And like I said, I was having a black conversation, girl. No shade. I don't want no blueberries in the macaroni and cheese, girl. Don't put no marshmallows in the greens. Black people like flavor. Flavor Town, there was no flavor there. No shade. But it's okay, and I appreciate his perspective because his perspective is valid. There are people in the world who do detransition. People's lives change. People can make a change and do things differently. And like I said, in which I gave Kevin kudos and said, look, if you when I tell you I'm not pressed about nobody else's reality except mine, just don't fuck with my reality and allow on my shit and hurt other people and stuff. If you feel you have to detransition in order for you to develop a stronger relationship with God and for you to be the best person you can be, I'm all for that. I would never be against that. Whether you grow and become better because of Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, atheism, whatever the case may be, as long as you're not hurting yourself or nobody else and you're actually contributing to society in reference to being a good fucking person and a human being, which is so fucking simple, I have no problem with that. And I encourage people to find what works for them. But you can't sit up here and take your puzzle piece and apply it to other people. And then when they speak about their experiences, now you want to bring up the Bible to justify your stuff. But then when the queer people start also bringing up the Bibles, now all of a sudden the enemy knows scripture. Now all of a sudden they're taking things out of context. Are we really taking it out of context? Because the thing about God is that God manifests things into reality. God is not about talk. It's about manifestation. And if people were to focus on the narrative and the stories and the principles of Christ, as opposed to all these other scriptures, we will finally manifest that. All these other books we're talking about other people's accounts of the divine, and we're thankful for them because they inspire and motivate humanity that no matter what you're going through, if you learn to love yourself and see the universe, God, source, whatever it is, as an extension of you in the most highest way, you can change your reality and become better. When Christ came into the narrative, it was to teach us as human beings that we no longer have no excuse. And in religion, a lot of times we sit here and talk about, okay, nobody but God do it. Only Jesus can. Did Jesus not say that ye are gods and that ye will go forth and do far greater works than me? See, Christ tried to make it very simple. He was on that Lauryn Hill shit. It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. You can make it hard and climb the rough side of the mountain. I'm going to tell the mountain to get the fuck out of my damn way. No shade. But at this point, no shade, if we're going to be on Black Men Unfiltered and have black conversation about blackness, and we do have people, no shade, who are white coming on, at this point, these motherfuckers somebody better sound like Luther Vandross, somebody better sing and sound like John B., sound like Bobby Caldwell. You need to bring a dish that can be verified by the black people. Okay, he can come in. It's good, bitch. It's good. No shade. And I get it. They were trying to use his perspective as a way to be like against the queer people. You got one of your own doing that stuff, baby. And we sat there and told the one that you're doing it, that's fine, do you. You can do what you want to do. And it was a private issue. Now, I thought that we was going to be name calling like Nev did, because I was expecting that. Because on Black Men Unfiltered, they say sissy punk. These niggas be letting them have it. You bitch ass nigga. They be doing all of that. So I was preparing myself for that. But I was surprised. And it gives me hope that if black people, especially black men, can sit down and have conversations and be vulnerable and be honest about their fears or their concerns about things that make them feel some type of way, we also have to give them the opportunity and the space to say what they want to say. At this point, be honest. Be honest. But I'm going to be honest too. I think the Renaissance man put it amazingly. There's your truth, there's my truth, and then there's the objective truth. So let's put the objective truth up there. And a lot of people are going to gag. Never. I keep fucking up that name. I'm sorry. Nev was getting them two and baby. Nev did not come to play. And so I was sitting there kind of laughing because I'm like, oh, y'all wait till y'all was waiting till they were getting ready to leave before you wanted to check them and correct them when they was on the way out, but you didn't do any of that on the panel. And wouldn't it be wise to check both Nev and Miss Twinkle Farts, according to, Black Men Unfiltered and the group that will get rid of them? And there are even people who are in the LGBT community, or LGB, shall I say, who are very ignorant about the TQI. So there's even ignorance within our own community because we're learning. And I look good as fuck in this camera. I didn't know I looked this damn good, bitch. Oh, I look good. Oh, I fuck me. And that was my issue with him. How are you going to sit there and talk about respect when Nev was going in on people, when niggas was getting on the panel with fire for Nev and nobody said anything? And I'll tell you this, when I came on the panel in the back, What's up, King Anubis? I don't want you to feel like I ignored you, baby. I'm just slow in the comments, and I'm low-key about to make me something to eat. I'm hungry. Y'all see my cat eye over here knock the hell out. What's I about to say? You said, what you comment again? Oh, when I first came on the live in the back part, because they said we were supposed to be there by 9:15. You know what I'm saying? To kind of just do mic check, sound check, make sure the whole professional aspect was done. And I went back there, babe, and I said, hey, y'all, they was quiet as hell. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that's cool. And I get it. I get it. There's going to be that awkwardness there because, again, because we've had these conversations and these expectations and experiences of things, we go in, all of us were meant to, me, other people, we was mentally prepared. We even said in our opening statements, I told y'all I had my piece over here just in case somebody was talking about gun clapping and talking about, oh, we got this shit for the gays. And we got this, the gays got the shit too, girl. You act like we ain't got it either. So I was prepared for all the smoke. Because even though my ass gay, I am from the hood. Now, I don't do hood shit. Okay? I don't know karate, but I know crazy. I know that. But I think once we allow people to talk and to listen to them, and even nonverbal communication, now I ain't gonna lie, there were some points being made where I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm naturally an animated person, and I can't deny what's on my face. My face is going to tell it all. But I also made sure to what? You right. I give you that. That's true. I still agreed with certain things. Because again, we're all talking about the same thing, but these not intersections within our community, but these intersections of distractions keep us from seeing each other and seeing what the real issue is. But my leprechaun ass, I'm short, I'm 5'2". Okay, I'm a leprechaun. I'm using my magical leprechaun Lucky Charms powers to be a glitch in the system. Because I'm starting to grow in my advocacy, not just for queer people, but for oppressed people. And there's a lot of oppression going on. No one group of people holds the motherfucking world title for oppression, bitch. We all getting fucked. We all getting messed up. And I love the fact that there were some black men on the panel who were able to see the bigger picture. But now that we're talking and we see the bigger picture, what does the actions of the bigger picture now look like? How do we now go forth from now seeing what the possibility could be and us being human beings and loving each other? What does that look like now? Because we get stuck at the talking part, but we really don't know how to transcend into the application part. And I'm even learning that in my own personal life. I spent a lot of my time, and for the people who follow me know this, I spent the majority of my 20s giving my energy out to other people, especially in romantic relationships, where I was okay with receiving little, and I gave a lot, and being okay with little. Hell the fuck no, bitch. It almost cost me my life. And I had self-deletion ideations in 2018 over a relationship. It was that desperate. But at the same time, with me being a queer child growing up, I didn't have the luxury of being able to be like my heterosexual peers and actually be organic and natural in my love and affection with other people. Just like how heterosexual people can have boyfriends and girlfriends and break the fuck up, and they can go to school and be high school sweethearts and all this other type of shit. I didn't have that experience. And a lot of queer people could not really be themselves until they were able to leave the house. And it kind of stunted their social interaction with other people because, first of all, I'm going, especially me as a child, I'm living in a society where my worldviews are being shaped by organized religion. That my experience is being shaped for me. Not that I have control and agency over my own experience, but that there are people who have already written me off as this because I used to be more feminine with my energy growing up. Right? And I literally had other parents tell me, oh, he can't stay the night at the house. Oh, he can't hang around my child. Because they thought that I was going to convert their children. Meanwhile, I didn't have my first sexual experience with a man that ended in an orgasm until I was 18 years old. But I did have crush on boys growing up. And I thought that boys were cute. And I've even said some things that gave the illusion I thought they was cute. But what I was met with was overt violence. And I get it. Because there is fear. People fear what they do not understand, and they hate what they fear. So when we talk about the children, we have to talk about all of the children. And I don't think I'm ready for that conversation, because pedophilia and all this stuff be thrown up against queer people. Okay, well, let's see who the queer child molesters are, but let's also see who the heterosexual ones are. And statistically speaking, because we're a smaller demographic and it's more of y'all, it's happening more in your own communities. And they're also happening in your places of faith. But see, you won't challenge those people, because those people have indoctrinated a lot of Christian people and those organized religion to believe that they're the only ones that get to hold the key to your soul, keys to your soul's salvation, when you hold the keys to it. What's up, Rico? Okay, Angry Snowman was every bit of homophobic, racist, conservative white man. That's okay. I thought he was going to be on the show. If he's on the show tomorrow, or he's on the show later on or something, like at another, anything homophobic, or y'all talking about the queers, bitch, I'm going to be there. It ain't just heterosexual people living in black communities. There's people like myself who live in black communities. And I care about the community as well. Can we actually get to the community part? Love the blue and the black are my favorite color. Awesome, killed it. Thank you, Aries. Thank you, Deshaun. That was crazy on the live. I just don't understand why they're going to focus on the LGBT. Why are they focusing on the majority of people? Why aren't they focused on the majority of people going after children? I mean, the movie that just came out recently talking about what is it? Child sex trafficking. One of the individuals who funded the damn movie was also charged with child sex trafficking. That's why I be quiet and let people talk, because eventually when people who are ignorant speak, they're going to slip up and show you their card. You ain't even got to work hard. I work smarter. That's why I let everybody talk. That's why I don't mind being patient. That's why I don't mind. Baby, not a problem. Yeah, and Kevin was giving a lot. I'm late in the comments, so if I get to your comments later, I apologize. Kevin was giving a lot, though, because I understand that you want to detransition, but that's your story. You can't speak for everybody else that is trans. Exactly, that's a part. And I think his story should be honored. His story should, because there are some people who do transition, who do want to transition, but because they made that decision. But I mean, how many of us have made decisions that we quote unquote regret it and had to learn to live with it? That's a part of life and growing up. As long as you know how to better yourself from it, that's all that matters. But your puzzle piece is not going to fit my puzzle piece. Regardless of religious interpretation of what they say, the reality of it, which Christ was about the supernatural, okay? Things that don't happen in this realm being different. He was about that, was he not? So you can still live your life and still be valid, but baby, you're not the only one that's valid. No shade. Von Bryan says, I saw the end of Black Men Unfiltered stream that you were going live, although my opinion may be indifferent from yours. Just wanted to pass through and commend you for having the conversation. I don't know if you're still here, Von. I hope so. But thank you so much for that, Von. I really appreciate it. I think me and you engaged in the chat when they were talking about the whole thing with parents and queer children and stuff like that. And I agree, like we're not going to be the same. We're not going to be the same. Like, I plan to have somebody on my panel. I don't know if they're scared or whatever, but they no longer say they're part of the queer community and that they're ex-gay. I want to have them on the panel. I'm not going to have them on the panel. Oh, so you say you ex-gay. And I'm not going to do all that, bitch. If that's what you want to do and you want to live your life and be happy, that's cool. That's fine. But there can be some common ground to where I can respect somebody who's ex-queer and vice versa. Because that's your story and your cross to bear. I have my own cross. But don't kick me in my shin as I'm walking with my cross. Don't spit on me as I'm walking with my cross. And I won't do the same to you. Because at the end of the day, God, source universe, has allowed all this to happen. Even in nature with animals. Yes, we've seen giraffes and monkeys and gorillas and all this shit in nature. But scientists are still discovering the unlimited expression of nature. The unlimited expression of nature. And it's so crazy that the 1% can't even be involved in the 99%. For what? Is that hard? And Hope Giselle, a trans woman, said it very perfectly. Beautiful trans woman, by the way. If I was to go over to someone's house and for the first time and they see their dog and I say, oh, he's a cute dog. And someone says, oh, that's a she. People are, oh, I'm sorry, it's a she. Y'all can give respect to a damn dog that you can't tell is male or female unless you look at all between their legs, but from the looks of it. But it's hard to do that for a trans person. It's hard to just, y'all call niggas Pookie, Mook Mook, Ray Ray, all type of shit. But when it comes to trans people, oh, I'm gonna call you what your mama and daddy named you. Okay. Well, I guess it's when the name calling starts because now I feel offended because you're disregarding my experience, but you want me to respect your disrespect of my experience. No. Guess we have to match energy. Now, I'm not gonna be like Nia, because baby, that was Omega level trolling. That was, I don't know their ethnicity. Like I said, I thought they were like Native American or something. But baby, they was tapping into some baby with the trolling thing, baby. Hey, had a and baby, Kevin told them, I'm coming for you, bitch. Coming for you, bitch. Okay? I may have been transitioned, and that's okay. But I will still whoop your ass, bitch. Okay, I'm coming for you, bitch. I'm doxing you, bitch. All of the conservatives about to be in your inbox, bitch. And we're gonna tell the people at Straight Pride, bitch, that what's happening, and we're all gonna whoop your ass, bitch. I'm coming for you. I mean, hey. Let's see. Can I go live? You talking about on your channel or mine? I was talking about Indian Snowman, whatever LGBT come on, that's what we get. People like Nev and Kevin. But you're cool and you know how to have a conversation. Everyone else don't. That's kind of like white people say, oh, about, you know, you're cool, you're a cool black person, you're cool. Like, everybody else is fucking crazy, but you're cool. And it's like you don't even know the other people. And a lot of these people, especially trans people, that's why this shit is so complex, because there is no motherfucking ABC 1, 2, 3 do re mi approach to this. All of these damn agendas and manifestos and all this shit that we bringing up about people and what they doing and stuff like that, that's the government's way of talking to each other about how the fuck we gonna pimp these niggas. How we gonna have them do all the work. How we gonna siphon all the energy and life from them and live vicariously through them and then reap the rewards of it, and they get nothing. That's what the system does. And I would love to do a live. I wouldn't even be mad. I would love to do a live where I could be on Black Men Unfiltered and say, look, black man, just have me as a queer person up there and just bring people up and let them talk to me. Let them talk to me, a person who is queer. You can't use the extreme conversations anymore about the extremists and stuff. You're talking to me. But y'all sometimes may be afraid to talk to me because the experiences that I've been through that have been traumatic in my life came from people who looked like me. And that same energy is being reverberated now. When I asked that question on the panel about fuck cutting your kid's dick off, fuck cutting the titties off, fuck cutting all the shit off and the hormonal changes through medication, will you at least let your child wear a damn dress or a damn wig or some damn makeup or something that they can verify in reference to their gender expression that they can take the fuck off? That common ground. Queer people not going back into the closet. I want y'all to understand that. Queer people are not going back into the closet. Just like women saying, motherfucker, if I'm gonna cook and clean and shit like that, can I at least get my nut? So you want me to cook and clean, watch the goddamn kids, wash the damn laundry and shit, do all this housework. You come home, cook and clean and feed your ass or something. And then when it's time to have sex, you give me 4 lousy ass, weak ass strokes and I can't get mine. And you wonder why the Duracell batteries are out of stock on the aisle. But there are some women who don't mind living that way, and that's fine. Not all women are going to choose that. There are some women who are confident in themselves and aligned in themselves to where they don't need a man. It's not a necessity. And a lot of these women, from the conversations I've heard, because again, queer people actually listen to women because, you know, we're not trying to fuck them. You know, we actually actively listen to them. If y'all would show up in a way that's more empathetic and you actually listen to your woman, not see what she's saying as nagging, oh my God, bitch, shut the fuck up, I wish I could slap you, but listen to her and be accountable, you'll probably get some more pussy. And for them old school niggas, what about that? What about the OJs? Me and my woman, we cried together, said we cried. Y'all cried together. You was emotional. And then what happened? Y'all made sweet love. The Jones Girls, who are also from Detroit, has a song called Peace with the Woman. And the chorus goes, there won't be peace on earth till man's at peace with woman. There will be no peace on this ground until man and woman sit down. Y'all cannot blame the destruction of the black family on queer people. Because according to y'all, we can't even have the goddamn families. Y'all gonna have to learn to listen to each other and respect each other and allow people to be. We were talking about masculinity and femininity. I'm gonna get to my notes. Masculinity and femininity, right? Those at the origin or source of it, Genesis, is energy. It's about energy, masculine and feminine energy. Nobody's trying to destroy masculine energy. You can't even destroy it if you wanted to. Masculine energy is important because from a spiritual, universal context that includes humanity, regardless of your personal belief, masculine is about your mind. Feminine is the emotional part. Emotion, energy in motion. You need that to happen. In divine masculine, let's divine feminine be what the fuck it's gonna be because it's divine. I know people talking about Keke Palmer and her having a husband and dancing up on Usher. Let Janet Jackson pick your ass out of the crowd and strap your ass up for the heterosexual men. Strap you up to the contraption. And she start playing that song. I just wanna get you fucking sucking, doing all that. You gonna let Janet Jackson do it. I know the niggas on the panel gonna let Janet Jackson touch on them. They'll be arguing the wife with their car. Well, baby, it was just one time. Shit, it's Janet Jackson. Damn. And when's the last time you rubbed on me like that? I got rubbed on and shit. I felt good. She didn't do that much. All I'm asking you is let me put it in your mouth a little bit sometimes. Shit, Janet Jackson was touching me for all these people. She the real freak bitch. What's wrong? I'm with the wrong person. But Keke Palmer danced up on Usher, and she has a man at home. Now, some insecure men who look at women as trophies and possessions because the original purpose of marriage was about property. The original context of marriage. It wasn't about a union between a man and a woman and through sickness and health and all that other type of stuff. Originally, it was about property. Men would sell women in exchange for goats and dogs and shit. Have we not forgotten about the color purple? When it sold Miss Celia ass into slavery, how he died? On top of me. On top of the children. You better never tell nobody but God. We gonna talk about that? Okay. He basically said, you're one of the good gays. You're not like the other gays. Well, he hasn't felt the smoke yet. Because if he thinks that I just want to be a complacent gay person, no. When you speak ignorantly, I will call it out. These motherfuckers don't understand the tutelage I was under, girl. Because to be honest, they had queer people like CTV and Reckless Logic on the panel, and no shade. I did my research. If you go to Black Men Unfiltered right now and click on a live video thing and click most popular, it's the one with CTV and Reckless on it. I also want these men to understand that y'all may not be afraid of us, but we are not afraid of you. At least not anymore. So eventually a real, true, genuine conversation is going to have to happen. And to get them with all the smoke. Yeah, they did name call. That was it. I was prepared to be all type of sissy punk. I was ready for that. Because baby, again, I'm when I say equality across the board, I mean equality across the board. We can turn this into Laugh-A-Palooza too. If we have to go down the comedic route and be on some Mad TV type shit, because I grew up watching Mad TV, we can do that. That's fine with me. Equality across the board, and I mean it. I mean it. And they're calling, guess who was name calling? They both was. But I ain't gonna lie. That's one thing that I do not like, and even I try to stop myself at times from doing it. And that's why when people are talking, I got these notes. Write shit down. Like, okay, you said, okay, let me write this down so that I can remember the talking points. Because a lot of times, because this conversation is so complicated, it's all these things being thrown out. So we're gonna have to put on our thinking caps. Okay, I got mine on today. Thinking caps, and we're gonna have to really put in the mental and emotional work to really figure shit out. Okay, so we got to put in the work, and I'm willing to do it. Okay, I was low-key trained for this. Had probably one of, if not the baddest teachers ever in my life, who motherfucking does the thing. I said the nigga so motherfucking real, bitch. I'm over here in my nomad phase, bitch, trying to figure out how real I am on my own. That's what happens when you meet people who are operating in the energy of Christ, to where they got to go off and change themselves to become better. That's what love does. Love inspires and changes and makes it better. When you operate out of fear, you have to put all this extra shit on there to try to make it work. No, when it's love, it's just simple. And a lot of Christian people talk about Jesus' love and all this stuff, when it gives the illusion a lot of times, because of organized religion's perversion of the Bible, which is not even the complete book. There are still missing books of the Bible. Okay, let me stop. I saw your face like, I sure was. But that's what these heterosexuals don't understand. Like you said, they're going to have queer children. They're not going to have their kids being gay. They're going to do everything in their power to convert them. You don't know what's going to happen in the household. And I mean, if we were to go down the road of ex-gay and stuff like that, no shade. Again, if for the people who are ex-gay, if that's what you want to do, but I'm talking about what people have brought out, their own perspectives and opinions. Since we're talking about detransitioning and all the other type of stuff, and people coming out of queerness, I encourage y'all to watch a documentary on Netflix. I don't know if it's still up there, called Pray Away. If not, you can go on my Instagram, on my YouTube page. I did a YouTube live watching it. You don't see the whole picture because you put the whole shit up, they're going to snatch the shit down, but you can hear the audio. And we went through it together, and a lot of the individuals who were part of the ex-gay movement in the 80s and 90s, who were like the face of it, all of them recently came out an apology in reference to how they were lying to people. That they can deny themselves the action, but the feelings never go away. And that even when people went to conversion therapy camps, they were fighting so desperately to change, and they could not change, to where they literally had to off themselves. And let's talk about self-deletion here. People contemplate self-deletion when their quality of life is no longer good, and it's not good consistently and consecutively, to where people start to feel I would probably be better off. Imagine the queer children who, shout out to the queer children today, because y'all have representation. You have things that I didn't have. So I'll speak from my experience. Imagine growing up in the world in the 90s that was still very homophobic, that still laughed at queer people and only accepted queer people when they were benefiting them and not their total humanity. I didn't know what a healthy representation of queer was. All I heard was the hell-bound, fire and brimstone version of queerness, that queer people get AIDS and HIVs and shit. Somebody brought up grids. That's because they were ignorant on it, because it wasn't a gay disease. Because if so, it would just be mutually exclusive to queer people, and we see that it's not. And I feel like it's some sort of government conspiracy they created to target queer people. Because where was all this AIDS shit before then? Where was it? But I didn't have any representation growing up, and I was in organized religion for a big part of my life. My father was a very staunch Baptist deacon, and he was indoctrinated into the Bible as well, very heavy. He still had elements of love, but it was overshadowed by organized religion and this whole wear your Sundays best and put on your fake shit and all that shit and act like you got it together. So imagine as a young child discovering in church that homosexuality is wrong. And then to go to school with my heterosexual peers who are my age, who are telling me based off of what their parents said that I'm living a wrong life, and they're fucking me up. There were plenty of times my parents had to go to the schoolhouse to see what was going on. And because of that, the parents doing the right thing to get involved and figure out what the fuck is going on with these people messing with my child. So we're talking about protecting the children. Now the bullies have gone from 2 bullies to now 5. And people would fuck with me for no reason. I wasn't in the room touching on the boys, grabbing on their ass. I wasn't doing any of that. If anything, I was hanging with the girls because I felt safe with them, because they did not judge me. And baby, when recess came, I had to make my way to the girls as fast as possible because them niggas was hunting for me. I remember one time it was this one dude. His name was Raynell. We're walking out of the modulars at the end of the day, and I'm getting ready to watch the parking lot so that I can go home. And Raynell just starts walking beside me. He's one of the bullies that was fucking with me in my childhood. He's walking beside me. I'm not thinking much of it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Out of nowhere, boom, knocked me the fuck out. And when queer children try to speak about their experiences, they're dealing with so much fear, because not only am I dealing with the ignorance of people outside of my family, and that's in these communal groups that I have to go to in reference to school and church and stuff like that, there's a possibility that my family might disregard my existence too. But see, we miss the bigger picture when we sit up here and ignore the experiences of queer people who are living the fucking experience. And I openly gay person that might date another gay person they never had with other gay person had, even if they're together. One is going to be odd than the other because you don't know how to love them. I understand. Oh, y'all in the comments. Okay, I gotta read the comments, y'all. Shout out to Deshaun. Okay, cool. Thanks, Vaughn. Still here, bro. Thank you. Baby Miss Neb, I cannot get over that. Baby Miss Neb. Because like I said, we equality across the board. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can be respectful or we can be crazy. Because no shade, according to the narrative of the Bible, before Christ ascended into heaven, he descended into hell. So that means no matter where we are on the spectrum, there is grace and mercy, but there's also smoke. No shade. And if you got the smoke, bring it. Like, if you have the truth, if you feel like you have a perspective that you can give that can help broaden our perspective communally, to see the bigger picture, I'm all for it. But the whole fear-based, fear-mongering thing where people can't bring up facts and stuff, and they try to use other methods and means to hide their biases and stuff, let's deal with the objective truth. Because I was not up there talking about some, oh yes, cut, if a child want to get their shit cut, I wasn't up there saying no. And if people were to do their research as well, for real, for people who are really trans, not this whole faux trans, oh, my child said they trans and they really trans, because again, to some people's point, some things can be fads. That, oh, well, I thought this was the case, but you know what? No, it's not really not. It's really not. But we're talking about the ones who actually who actually struggle with gender dysphoria, who internally feel that way. And the video that they're going to use tomorrow, one of them was, because they're going to use Flame Monroe, and I'm like, girl, y'all just be picking the most horrible people to prove y'all point. And that's why I be so cringy, because it's like, y'all really be grasping. But the video that they're going to use tomorrow was a video, I believe, of somebody who is from the scientific community, who is very objective. Because with science, their job is to just observe and record the data. That's it. There's no room for personal bias. So they were saying that even with gayness, there may not be a gay gene, but in the womb, with hormonal things that is natural, that humanity does, it will give different variations of humanity. I think she said if a person continues to have so many boys, eventually one of those boys are going to come out queer. And they see it happen among males and not women, females. And then on top of that, there are still mysteries about heterosexuality. Heterosexuality is not just as black and white as we would appear for it to be as well. That when it comes down to sexuality and why people are the way that they are, that there is no definitive answer on both sides of the spectrum. And that's the video that they're going to use tomorrow. See, no shade. I actually does this. I does it from an out-of-the-box perspective. There's a book I commend that y'all read, and I kind of read up on this too. And I got this book when I was in college, and I had a public debate class. Because one thing about me, I have the gift of speech. I've been told that all my life I had pastors and preachers and men of faith tell me that I was going to stand in front of thousands of people and to preach, but I didn't know it was going to look this way. But that's okay. Because when we're talking about the other expressions of humanity, there are going to be other people who are going to do things differently to cater to those people. You ain't got to do it. You don't have to do all the extra hard work. Let the people who are experienced do that. But there's a book, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's probably back. Oh, you can see it. It's called Argumentation, Inquiry, and Advocacy by George W. Zigmuller and Charles A. Doss. George Zigmuller was my instructor in that class. And I remember I would write essays and stuff, and he was like, Bubz, now that's how you write an essay. I love thinking outside the box. You have to. You have to think outside the box. I think they said it on the House of Dragons, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to slay a dragon, you have to slay it from multiple angles. If we just go head on, straight on, we're running into the fire. Somebody got to be on the up part somewhere behind the dragon. Somebody, at least y'all know I ain't no musty bitch. Somebody got to be underneath the dragon. There are many different perspectives to slay the dragon, and we need it. Because again, when it comes down to blackness, and not just blackness, but I'm speaking from the community that I'm part of, black and queer, blackness is being attacked. But at the same time, there are black people who are awakening and rising. You are having cis, hetero, biological males like Consciously, like Dr. Obi, who are heterosexual, cisgendered men who are secure in themselves, who are secure in their masculinity, and they're not in toxic masculinity, which means that in order for me to be verified in my masculinity, I got to make sure everybody else is in line, as opposed to walking in your truth and saying, bitch, I'm me regardless. You can be you. I'm going to be me, bitch. Gay people, let me tell you something. For me, I'm not trying to get straight niggas to like dick and ass. That's not me. And to be honest, I'm attracted to feminine men. I'm attracted to gay men who are gay. And I'm even broad in my perspective. There was one experience that I had with somebody who was trans or who was in the midst of transitioning. I'm not one of the gays that like straight men or try to trick on the trade. That's not me, because it's getting to the point to where for a lot of men, them not wiping their ass is considered gay. And I know y'all talk about anal sex and stuff, but the people who want to hear about it, let me tell you about it, okay? From the, I ain't gonna get all graphic with it, but y'all be asking questions about anal sex. Let me tell you something. There is procedures and stuff that are done to prepare for those acts. For the people who asked, girl, the views and drop, girl, I didn't witness uncharted territory with these people. They said, oh, hell, y'all talking about it, we hear? Y'all throw up, y'all decided up here and told us how about the sperm and the egg and the pussy and the dick come together and all this stuff. Okay, well, that's not the only experience, sir. And if you're going to talk about queerness, let's talk about it. And the people that I've had sexual experience with, even though it's been very few, have been very clean people. Ain't cleanliness next to godliness? I want to have to go back to population control, because a lot of people don't understand population control. You're saying, how are we going to populate what is way too many people on the earth? When it comes down to depopulation, we are playing our part in depopulation. In the Black community at large, you do have a lot of Black men who do sell poison to their community. Is that all of them? No, but it's a lot of you motherfuckers. More so than anything that queer people can do. Okay? Who are selling poison. And then on top of that, these record companies who are run by white men take out insurance policies on these Black rappers. Why do you think, again, like I said, violence and war is very profitable? These people are smart. And they create and promote music that talks about violent death and destruction. And they're out there unaliving each other at alarming rates. That's a form of depopulation. The 1%, a lot of people are fucking the 1% up. Especially Black trans women. And they're not tricking the men. You got T.S. Madison, Cherry the Boom. You have people who are proudly saying, I am trans. And there are men, a lot more than what they would like to assume or acknowledge, that are trans attracted. Like this whole fear of my child's going to do this, so I have to. There are other people in the world who are going to do what you don't want to do. That's the beauty of life. I don't have to have sex with a female. Other men can. And for the men, I feel like y'all need to be sponsoring gays. I feel like it should be a sponsor gay. Every month I should get a CashApp donation, because my fine leprechaun ass is removing myself from the competition of you getting a woman. Because a lot of, let me tell you something, a lot of these gay men that y'all be talking about, women want to fuck them. When I was at, what's the gay club here in Detroit? It was before it got burnt down, unfortunately. The Woodward. I went with my friend at the time and his two biological female friends. And they got drunk and they was in the club crying, all these niggas gay. Oh my God, it's such a waste. Oh, he's so fine. Oh my God. Be glad that we removing ourselves. That's more pussy for you. That's more vagina for you. And hell, at this point, if you want to be a polygamist, do it. Have 3, 4 wives. Go ahead. So you ain't got to cheat on your woman and step out no more. You can have Keisha, Rhonda, Monique, Christina, Yall, Petey Pablo the shit. See, there are alternate ways for everybody to be happy. It's that we have to get to those points. Y'all, I'm getting hungry. Vaughn says, I thought you were very respectful in the conversation, and you definitely gave room for dialogue. On the other hand, the other two seem to cause a bit of turmoil, moving away from understanding. Yeah, because I ain't gonna hold you. There are some queer people who are just tired of the shit. There are some queer people who are ready for all of the smoke, and it's like, at this point, if you ain't listening, I'm just gonna go off. Because hurt people are hurting people. But we also have to be accountable too, because there were plenty of times on Black Men Unfiltered when they were having conversations amongst brothers that there wasn't any sort of like pushback or correction when it comes to that, because when I saw the live when they were talking about girls trip being hoes in remission, and a big part of it was about the trans community, which was very interesting to me. But Tyru was up there, and you had men calling Tyru, "Oh, fuck you, bitch ass nigga! I'll slap you, bitch ass nigga, bitch." Where was the ho? Wait, hold on, bro. You being rude now. You calling another black man a bitch. You know we don't do that up here. We stand up for masculinity. Don't call no brother a bitch, especially since he got a wife and a damn child and shit. He ain't no bitch. It's like, if people actually walk in what they believe in, they will be able to validate their point. So, yes, the banter between Nev and Kevin, even though there's a part of me feeling like, girl, whenever gays start fighting for the entertainment of heterosexual people, they gonna let the shit happen. They gonna sit there and laugh. You know, it's the same thing with white people and black people. If they can fight each other, we gonna laugh and watch the shit. Cause at least they ain't talking about us. You know, they going at it. You know what I'm saying? And it proves our point that these people can't talk. But it's like, now that I was on the platform, you can't say that anymore. So instead of having all these other queer people that come up there and interrupt and do all these things, talk to the queer person who is being respectful and is willing to listen to you, but also give pushback when pushback is needed to be inserted. Andrew Caldwell, when it needs to be inserted. And I understand in future conversations, I probably will deal with backlash. I probably will deal with people calling me names, and that's okay, because that's my cross to bear, to not be triggered. And I'm not going to be triggered as far as, nigga, fuck you would have to be at my house trying to actively get in my house for me to go all the way crazy on your ass. And I hate to say this. If there's one tool that gay people have in reference to self-defense, baby, they know how to use their words like knives. They had to protect themselves some way. So again, if we're going to make it Laugh-A-Palooza, let's make it Laugh-A-Palooza. And I think inserting comedy and laughter into the equation, it helps to break them up the ice and the monotony and all this stale shit. That's why I made sure to laugh and enjoy myself with the conversations. And on top of that, if you say some shit that's funny, I'm going to laugh. I don't care if it's to me. If you're throwing shade at me, at least have me be like, damn, nigga, touche. Like, okay, my turn. Like, I'm cool with that. But now we can't use the argument, oh, every time we have these conversations with queer people, they want to, no, because BubzDaGawd has been on the panel, and you saw how respectful I was. I play my cards smart and right. So now when we have other conversations about it, all your fears and concerns come to me. At least me right now. There might be other people that will come up there to be able to help give context and nuance, because I am not the spokesperson for all of the queer community, but I've listened to queer people, even other people in the queer community that I'm even ignorant on, because I'm still ignorant on some trans stuff and intersex stuff. So I'm even a student when it comes to that. So I feel like, again, we need to build community in the intersections of community. Okay? I think it's very important. Let's see. Bubz, you drive by. I drive by, say hi, I love you, and miss you. Just sent you. You did, Teresa. I'm gonna have to look at it in a minute, because matter of fact, I can do it now. Well, I don't fuck up my audio because I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. But I'm gonna definitely look at it, Teresa. Thank you. If y'all want to donate to BubzDaGawd, because over here we actually put doorknobs on the door for the church building fund. We actually put it in the building. Okay. But thank you, Teresa. I'm going to definitely look at it after this live. And I think I follow you on Instagram. If not, follow me and message me so that I can look at it and thank you for your beautiful donation. Whatever it is, I'm just grateful. Thank you. Fine. If that was the way Angry Snowman worded that compliment, it could have hit back. But see, I understand, but that's what I'm saying. Like, one thing I learned, especially with the journey with my father, dealing with having queer children, because I'm gay and my sister's lesbian. Oh my God, the gay agenda just running rapid in this goddamn house. Shit. But I have to understand, and that's why I did a live on my page, because for the parents that may have queer children or do not know they have queer children. There are parents out there who went through the fear and was able to survive and still love their child without feeling like they're compromising their soul salvation or their ticket into heaven by actually walking by Christ, which is saying that you are already healed, you're already done, you're already connected. All you got to do is just simply believe it. Didn't it say if you believe with your heart and confess with your mouth that you are saved and you really believe that, that's what you are, saved? So again, I'm ready. As long as I got my weed with me, baby, because I'm trying to manifest a reality to where I don't run out of weed. I want to be able to have weed everywhere. I want to be able to be sitting here talking to y'all, hey, what's going on? And pick up shit. Dad, there's weed in here. Yeah. I want to be able to have so much weed, I can just get this shit away. Because I'm going to need weed to have these conversations. Because, baby, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Don't forget about Adina Howard. Oh, she was bad on that stage. And it was Adina Howard first that did performances on me. Come on. And on top of that, I'm going to make sure I buy another candle. Pretty soon, I'm going to light that bitch. And we going to pray and talk to Oshun, Ogun, Olokun, and all the motherfuckers to bring in the documentary for the Freaknik. I want to see that. I wonder how many people that will be on the panel or be in the comments, girl. Back in they younger days, girl, they was motherfucking bending over and they coochie was pink and they booty hole was brown. I want to see that. There's a lot of doctors and established women and men who was doing freak hole, nasty, slut fucking shit in the 90s. And I want to see that. But see, that's why it's like y'all got to be careful when y'all talk about these certain things to be fear-based, because the universe will give you that fear-based thing with the totality of it, with you included. So I'm just curious to understand, like, for example, with the sexualization of kids, what this is going to look like universally. Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to have gender neutral clothes for children? And then when they become of age and the hormones come, are we going to naturally, organically let them be, now that I've, was able to be a child and I've got to a point, I think I'm a girl, I'm a female and I identify as a girl, but I think I like girls. Or I'm a male that identifies as a man, so I think I like boys. Or I am a male that identifies as a boy and I like girl. Would that even still be the case? Like, even if you were to remove the sexualization, the stimuli, or whatever the influence is on both sides of the coin, and you allow these children to organically go through these things, and they still were to come out queer and trans and everything, including heterosexual, would you still be able to honor them then? And the thing is, I know the answer to that. And it's going to be no. But I also understand it's going to be no because the fear is there. See, people think that, because I don't try to overtly put my hands on you or show you that I'm fearful of you or whatever, doesn't mean that I'm hateful. No, but when you do not acknowledge queer people's existences. I brought up the queer man that was murdered for voguing at the gas station, and nobody continued to speak on that, even though that was a reality. And we hear people saying, oh, well, I mean, if I saw you on the street and someone was fucking with you, I'd have whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Would you? Would you? Because from the videos that are online on YouTube, when queer people were in trouble, I think there was a video where there was a man being up on a trans woman and a man was going to step in, but found out that that was a trans woman and said, no, fuck that nigga up. There was a video where almost half the motherfucking hood was chasing this trans woman into a fucking liquor store where she had to hide behind the damn counter because the mob was going to fuck her up. These are people's experiences that are an objective reality. And for the people that care, they do stats. They do all type of analysis on these people to see if this is true. And the stats show that there are queer people who are in danger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And especially with us being black people, let me light my shit for this, because this is the part that people ain't gonna like. The fact that we are black people and black people at large say that we're the most empathetic people, I believe we are. But I think we don't have any emotional intelligence and awareness. And we look at other groups of people, laws and stuff, and saying that, oh, well, they're benefiting off of us, or there's a jealousy factor there, not realizing that all those laws, if we're going to be honest, benefit white people. And the powers that be, that's really the 1%. That's really the one that's in control of all of the corporations and all this other type of stuff. It's a conglomerate of different type of people who have one common goal in mind: to bring the world population down to a certain size so that they can have control over them and establish their new world order. And when the bombs drop, it's not going to drop just in straight people's houses. It's not going to drop just in biological women's houses. It's not going to just drop in black people's houses. It's going to drop on all of our houses. And if we see that this system don't give a fuck about all these people or a certain group of people, then we need to build a community of the people who are oppressed. And again, in the 60s and 70s, we were doing that. Everybody was rocking their natural hair. All of the black celebrities and music artists came together. It was about freedom. It was about love. What's up, brother? Peace, my brother. The Black Panther was created to be able to police a neighborhood so that if somebody black did something wrong, the motherfucker can at least go to jail and be tried by his peers in an honest and fair way so he can at least survive. And to actually watch the kids. So when the kids are going to school, okay, we walking the kids to school. The gangs, the Bloods and the Crips were originated to protect the neighborhood. And our brothers and sisters now who are thugged out niggas, they really are the manifestation of our soldier class, our warrior class. Imagine if these hood niggas could come together to protect their own neighborhood to where they riding around at night. They standing on the corners at night, not to cause discourse or harm or to sell poison to their community, but to make sure their community is safe. And that if some goddamn motherfucking police brutality does happen, that we can respond in a way to where this black person gets to survive, especially if we know it's unlawful. Instead of just sitting there and recording shit. That's why community is important, and I'm about community. But we have to deal with the bullshit and all the bullshit. If you feel like some bullshit coming from the queer community, say it. Let's put it out there and then see if it's true. And what's ever true, we're going to have to be accountable of that. But we are not going to be the only ones accountable. If this is a true communal effort, everybody going to have to play their part. I remember this, and I'm going to read y'all comments, and I got to get into this. And I got to throw something in the air fryer, bitch, because I'm hungry. One of my favorite shows was Underground. And I'm so mad that them niggas canceled that. But you know what? The person that I am, I'm trying to manifest, or shall I say I am manifesting financial freedom in my life. I'm somewhat living it now in reference to waking up and do what the fuck I want to do and my bills are paid. Somehow, miraculously, I'm walking by faith, y'all. But when the Omega level manifestation comes, oh, the type of projects and film shit I want to do is going to be on that, and it's going to be even more intense. You're going to have to watch Weed to watch my content, baby. But on the show, especially the particular episode where Harriet Tubman was giving her address to the secret union, and there was one point where she did something that normally in movies, a lot of times, or even in plays, they don't do. They don't break the fourth wall, because when you break the fourth wall, you're breaking out of the illusion, the suspended disbelief that this show is giving us. Even though it's historical, it's still a dramatization. She looked at the camera and said something along the lines of, nobody in the black community can afford to sit on the bench. There are people who literally want to back to the future on our ass and put us back in chains where we were, according to them, the most happiest. We all had homes. We all had food. We all had some sort of control and order over our lives. You know, slavery benefited black people. You even got lawmakers in Florida right now who are black and conservative. That's like, wait a minute, hold on. Exactly. Because this is an oppressive system, if they were to get rid of queer people, who the fuck do you think they're coming after next? Oh, you think it just stops there? Shout out to Vaughn in the building. Okay, shout out to you. I have no problem respecting those who respect me and themselves. It was obvious that people are going to live the way they want to. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to agree. Because I may disagree with one's lifestyle, it doesn't mean that I should be disrespectful and condescending in my approach when I speak. Exactly, and that's the goal. Because even with me, I'm not subscribed to organized religion. I've developed personal relationship, and that works for me. And even when I talk about Christianity, I try to make sure that I say some Christians, because I understand there are some Christians or those who identify as Christian who really trying to tap into that love Christ energy, truly love their neighbor and be like, yeah, I may not agree, but how do I love you? Like, I may not understand, but how can I learn to love you without feeling uncomfortable about you? Because again, in the narrative of the Bible with Christ was around lepers. If y'all was around lepers, y'all would be like, I don't want you to touch me. Look at what we was doing with C-19. Oh, don't touch me, bitch. You sneezing? Oh, shit. Did I drop my damn joint? Fuck. I just flung that bitch. Hold on. I don't play about my weed, bitch. Hold on. Damn. I just flung it. Wait. Okay, there it is. Hell no. I'll whoop your ass over. Just how like some people be like, protect my damn kids. Weed is my damn sharing. Okay? I never got my damn point, what I was saying. That shit just kind of fucked me up. You said, condescending in my approach. Yeah, like going back to what I was saying about Christianity, like I can still be friends with Christian people as long as you don't use your ideology to demonize me or to use me as a barometer of like, oh, I feel like I should tell him about the truth because if I don't, God's going to get mad at me and I've compromised my going to heaven card. And then we have some religious institutions as far as organized religion that says, oh, we shouldn't have these people around us at all. Like, be completely separated from these people. And then you talk shit about the people you're separate from, and then you lie on them, which therefore manifests the shit over in Uganda to where now queer Ugandan black people, before the evangelical part came to it, unfortunately are now going to become expendable and become collateral because they want to test evil shit in other countries. And my thing is, when it comes to the bigger picture and the oppression part, I really want to be wrong. I don't mind having my face cracked. But based on my research and my experiences and what I see, there is something that's affecting all of us. And we need to have conversations that are honest and genuine with people who have the capacity to do so and really put in the work and then continue those conversations outside of ourselves, which means that even myself, I don't really go to the barber like that because, you know, I be wearing do-rags and shit and I need to get my shit retwisted, no shade. But that means even queer people in barbershop spaces have to speak up too. There have been plenty of times where I was trying to get my hair cut and my barber, I think he knew that I was gay. He'd be asking me where the hose was and I didn't really answer his question. You know what I'm saying? But when I would go in there, he would always bring up the conversation of homosexuality. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I sit there and listen. I'd be like, now I don't want to say some shit and you fuck up my hairline because then now I'm going to have a problem. So we're not going to do that. Okay. But we're going to have these conversations for real. And we're going to have to go into these spaces and places and let our presence be known. Or the people who are supposed to be allies and people who understand the plight of queer people for real, are supposed to be in those spaces. Because I'm queer, there are some people who are going to have a preconceived notion about me. Like I said, when I went on the platform 15 minutes before the live, baby, it was quiet. I was feeling awkward as fuck. I'm like, well, damn, do I say something? I said, hey, y'all, how everybody doing? One person, hi. And instead of quick, hi. Everybody else getting great. What's up? What's new? And I get it. Y'all don't know me. Y'all have had these past experiences. You probably think I'm going to come on some bullshit and just fuck up the conversation. No. That's why I said, after having the experience, you can't deny that there are queer people who are able to have these conversations realistically. Now, I'm trying to get Lance Skirr, bald head ass, to drop the link. That's who I'm trying to get next to drop the goddamn link. You drop the link, nigga. I talked to a bunch of other bald head men on the panel tonight. I can talk to you. And I ain't trying to talk to you in reference trying to get with you and shit. No, because again, I'm going to go on platforms that are about blackness and bring the context and nuance, because black queer people are still part of the black community. They can't choose between being black and queer. It is a thing that they're dealing with and that we're dealing with simultaneously at the same fucking time. This is the variations of life. What's up, Scotty? Park, what was going on that part? What's up, L Teddy? Make sure y'all go to Black Men Unfiltered, okay? And watch the live we previously did, talking about the agenda. Now, they're going to be talking about their version of the agenda, and I get it. There are some heterosexual people who want to vent their frustrations and concerns in what they consider a safe space, and that's cool. Because it goes back to what I was saying earlier about my father. Thank you, Universe, for that. My father, he had to go through that journey of learning how to accept his child, because the fear was there. The fear that because we're religious people and my son has acknowledged something that has been interpreted as a sin in the Bible, which again, interpretation is a subjective thing, that I'm trying to protect my son from hell. I'm trying to protect my son from HIV and AIDS. I'm also trying to protect my son from the homophobia and queerphobia that is blatant, that I don't want to talk about, because if I acknowledge that, I'm acknowledging the faith, and you don't question the faith. That's how they teach you that. And I think one of the biggest things, especially with him being a father, and especially a black man, a black father, what people are going to think about me as a parent, that there will be other black people who would think that I failed somewhere, that I missed the ball, that I didn't show up for my son the way that people felt like I should have shown up, or that my mother was overbearing on me. Just all these, he had to face what is known as an ego death. But as he went through his ego death, and he got to see it for what it really was. See, facing the fear means also dealing with the objective reality of the situation. To where now he is proud of his son, because at the end of the day, regardless if I'm gay or not, I'm a dope ass nigga. No shade. Always have, always will be, and I'm getting better all the time. I'm not trying to be the best in reference to outside of me. I'm trying to be the best in reference to internally within my own experience. And once again, I am one of those queer children that have survived queer phobia and lived to tell about it, when there was an instance where I had a self-deletion ideation, an attempt when I was younger in middle school. So what doesn't kill you is supposed to make you stronger, right? And a lot of older people say, just keep living, because as you live, you have experiences that's able to teach you and to be better. But that's an ongoing, lifelong experience. And an old dog can definitely learn new tricks. All right? I mostly hung with the girls too, or they clung to me. Hell yeah. And I remember I had girls when I was, especially in church, it would be girls who had a crush on me. It was this one girl, her name was Micah. She used to tell her mom, why don't he like me? Like she was very overt with her shit. She was very Nikki Parkerish with her shit, and I was her Stanley Ogilvy. It's very much a lot. So I even dealt with that. And I may not be the finest nigga, but I do consider myself attractive, and I've had women hit on me. And it'd be so funny, because when they hit on me, they might be talking about God, but they talking about God in reference to a nigga being balls deep in them and helping to produce them call out his name in that way. But when they realized that I was queer, Now they were using God in the context of, oh, well, the Bible says this. Okay, and I'm still not gonna fuck you. I'm supposed to be like, oh yes, no, because you weren't even thinking about Jesus and all that shit beforehand. You was thinking about what these lips could do. My stomach is growling. Self-accountability, great again. Relax, young man. God will not tell you. Wrong religion, Buddhist, Catholic, Jewish, bless you, be blessed. And good. And that's fine. Thank you. You have the right to your opinion. That's perfectly fine. That's your perspective. But objectively speaking, it's not the only one. It's not the only one. That's the beauty of life. Life is variation and different. Again, even in nature, there are different things in nature that scientists are even still proving. We think we know everything, but we don't. We are always learning, always becoming. So again, you have the right to your opinion and believe what you want to believe. And if that works for you, that's fine. But I'm going to do what works for me. But thank you for your comment, though. A lot of times, many Christians speak the truth without love, which makes it becomes a weapon. When we weaponize the truth, people are more apt to reject it. With love and kindness, have I drawn the exactly, Vaughn, exactly. The Bible is supposed to really be a mirror and not a shield and a weapon. And I can't really fault those who believe in the faith because, and me have my own experience with it, so I'm speaking from my own experience from religion. And someone else, I forgot his name, but he said it very, very beautifully. He said, with religion, if there was a religion that was a one-size-fit-all religion, there would be one. And to be honest, if there was one, it really wouldn't be because, oh, they really care about God, they really care about love, they really care about humanity and showing up in servitude to humanity and being the best version of themselves. They would do it simply because they don't want to go to hell. That's why for me, I feel like if a lot of people who consider themselves Christians would focus more so on the narrative of Christ. God, source, universe is going to do all the other stuff. There are other universal laws in play. The law of cause and effect, the law of karma. There are other laws that's going to get people together. No shade. It's going to be. But again, I'm here to find the gray area. That's what I'm here for. The gray area conversation. And I know everybody's not going to want to have that conversation, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I'm willing to have the conversation with those who want to have it. No shade. But anyway, thank y'all. I appreciate it. What time is it? It is almost 4 in the morning. I'm about to throw this motherfucking chicken in the air fryer. Okay, I'm about to eat and try to enjoy the rest of my night. Make sure that y'all in the building tomorrow night with Black Men Unfiltered, because again, they're going to give their perspective in a more safer way for them. That's more controlled, which I mean, it's your platform. I'm okay with that. That's cool. On their perspective or their side of the agenda. So, welcome to the era of learning, y'all. Age of Aquarius, the age and the era of truth, of raising our vibrations and our consciousness, and really connecting to love and figuring out what that looks like, objectively. So we're definitely going to see. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to Tanika. Thank you for your perspective. Shout out to Vaughn in the building. Shout out to you. And you know what? I'm glad that the live kind of went how it went tonight. No shade. Even though you had his funny moments, because I guess the queers are used as comedic relief. Well, I guess that's okay, because it was smoke on both sides. So as long as it's smoke on both sides, at this point, go ahead, it's whatever. But I have hope. I have hope for the Black community. You know, I have hope that there are Black men out there who, even though they may be ignorant, and when I say ignorant, I mean they simply just don't really know the true reality. They may know the perspectives or the opinions of other people, but from those actually living the experience, like the fact that they were willing to sit there and listen, whether they agreed or not, but to listen, I think that's very important, because once we do that with each other, then we can get to the bigger issues that's fucking with the Black community. And the powers that be don't want that. But we're also going to have to really strengthen our community and be for real, because I mean, even when Black people started to ascend, like with Black Wall Street and Black businesses and Black towns, because again, we were seen as property. Now the property has agency and ownership over itself, and they're the ones doing all the work. So of course, your property is doing its own thing. Of course, it's going to do more and do better than you. And those white people, white supremacy, had to destroy that. So even if we get to a place where we're coming together again like we did in the 60s and 70s and was united, we have to stay the course, because they will implement something that will destroy all of us. It destroyed Blackness and Black families for real with the crack epidemic that sent Black men to prison for longer sentences for crack cocaine, when the only difference was baking soda, nigga. They giving a nigga 15 years for that recipe, okay? And even with the queer people, continuing to demonize them as far as going after your children. If you know you love your children, so you're going to protect your children. The same thing with women. When women want to walk in their ownership of their own body, have control and agency of their own body, and do more things instead of just cooking and cleaning and serving pussy up whenever it's asked. And if you act out of way, I might have to slap you to discipline you, whatever. Like, there are different expressions of people. I think if people were to become more secure in who they are and know who they are and walk in their own individual unique truth, I think we'll be able to work through this stuff and actually manifest the hope, dreams, blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. And my Black, same gender loving, leprechaun top ass is going to be one of the individuals who is going to help that come true. But I'm also going to give my props too, because even in the achievements historically with Black people, there has been sprinkles of queer people being very implementive in the ascension of Blackness. Again, Bayard Rustin. If it wasn't for Bayard Rustin, there would be no march on Washington, because he was an amazing strategist and an organizer. He was able to see the parts that everybody else couldn't and put them together. That was his gift and his talent that was used. And because of the queerphobia at that time they were going to associate with Dr. Martin Luther King, they had to remove Bayard from it, but they could not deny his gift and his talent. So they brought him back, and henceforth we now have the infamous "I Have a Dream" speech that has been etched in stone. James Baldwin, another great philosophical mind, that went on to debate white people who say, oh, well, we're going to use intellect and logic as a system because we know about the system. You guys are savages. And he came in and shut all their asses down, had white people turning red, and we the colored ones. Interesting. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have to do my research on it again, I think there was a queer man that was a millionaire at the time that donated financially to the Black community in reference to jumpstart the civil rights movement. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I do my research, but I do believe that is the truth. And even in queerness, because even Black queerness gets whitewashed. Let's talk about Stonewall. Marsha P. Johnson was one of the spearheads for gay liberation, a Black trans woman. And you can watch Stonewall today as far as the movie, and they whitewash the fuck out of it. Let's look at the Black church. Oh, come in here, play the organ, bang the tambourine, bang it. direct my choir, get my harmonies in order. Help me set the atmosphere so that after we done had this spiritual orgasm and we really high in the spirit now because we've been taken over and stuff. Now I can pass the collection plate and I know that y'all gonna give y'all best. Even though the church is supposed to give back to the people. Oppressors are not going to pimp oppressed people anymore. All across the board and spectrum of oppression, people are standing up. And that's why we have to learn from history and then do something different. Because we keep talking about this old shit and the old ways and stuff. They already memorized the playbook on the old ways, which is why we keep doing the same shit and they keep responding the same way. And we're not getting nowhere. There has to be a radical shift. There has to be a radical shift. There has to be a glitch in the system. And if we don't get that together, I'm very afraid for blackness because, in my opinion, I've never seen blackness be so vitriolic against each other ever like this. To where we have young black men at large, not all, but at large, who have subscribed to a narrative that tells them that the only thing they're worthy of doing is robbing, lying, killing, stealing, and fucking women. And there's nothing else to them. There's nothing fruitful and life-giving to them. And these big-ass corporations play into it again. Like people were saying on the common theme on the show, which I was like, yes, thank you. My prayer over my damn candle worked. We're getting to the bigger picture. Go on YouTube right now after this live or during this live and look up Dead Rappers 2023 and tell me how many black men have succumbed at the hand of somebody else like them, but yet George Zimmerman still walking around. There's even a hatred for blackness within itself, to where we won't even value another black person's life. And black men are feeling that. So I can understand where a lot of black men come from. They're tired. Let's talk about it. Historically speaking, black men have been ostracized, used and abused, manipulated, demasculated. All these things been done to them. They've been torn down and torn apart in every fucking aspect. But I'm sorry, right now, a lot of black men, no shade, until y'all become more emotionally aware and intelligent and walk out the divine principles of divine masculinity, you are in no way, shape, or form prepared to lead any fucking body. You can't even lead yourself. Now, thankfully, because of the feminine energy operating in its divineness, because as much as we downgrade femininity and it's being less than and being weak and shit like that, go fuck with a mama bear and her cubs. I dare you. I dare you to walk up into the cubs, the cave of the cubs, bitch, and walk up on somebody's fucking babies and see how that woman bear, female bear, feminine bear shreds your ass to ribbons. And what we not finna do is sit up here and act like black women don't be doing shit, because there are black women who have done the damn thing. Yes, black women cannot teach their sons how to be a man in reference to the social construct as far as the familiarity and the connection there, but they can teach their sons how to not be a fuck nigga. They can teach their sons on how to treat a woman or their partner. They can do that. And on top of that, black women bring life, or women in general, females in general, technically speaking, but we're going to say women for the context of the conversation, bridging the gap, meeting in the middle. Biological women bring human beings into this world. They go through 9 months of a lot of shit. Hormonal imbalances, throwing up, eating pickles and ice cream, all type of goddamn just hog mog eating shit, right? and then have to go through natural birth, which means they have to push a human being through. And meanwhile, they look the man sitting there and shit. You okay, baby? You all right? And you get cussed out, nigga. Never again. Never again. Never the fuck again. Next, squeezing breaking the fuck out his damn hand. Black women have been the glue to keep the black community together. And it's not just black women. It's also queer people, too, who are attached to their feminine side, who have kept black men. Because who's raising these men? Or all these single women? Well, at least the women there to help. And maybe this is a message for men, for them to actually get to know somebody before they stick their dick in them. I remember I used to work at a soup store called K&G. Okay? Crap and garbage. And I remember I was helping this customer with his girlfriend. And they were, it was black. And they were arguing. And I was sitting here laughing and shit. And he was like, man, come on, just show me these soups over here. So his girlfriend or wife or whoever over there looking at the damn tires and shit. And he's sitting there just going off, man, damn, I should have never fucked this bitch. Damn. My friends told me not to fuck her. I'm here stuck, shit. Lead with this as opposed to this, and you won't be in no fucked up baby mama situation where the bitch is crazy. And y'all fuck her if she crazy because the coochie be crazy. You love crazy coochie, but you don't love crazy, all the craziness that comes with it. So it's like, there's so much broadness here. Okay, let me see. Thank you for having me, young man. I hope you don't mind me calling you. No problem. No. Look, so, and I understand, like you said, a man who's in 60s. Again, we have to learn, like, I'm cool with that. And I am a cisgender, I'm a biological male. I'm not trans. No shade. I don't struggle with gender dysphoria. And to be honest, and this, I guess this is a male thing, I love my dick. I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about, this is not transphobe. Look, I'm talking about BubzDaGawd. I love my dick. To the point to where, even in the gay relationships, what you would consider the man, I'm that. Okay? I'm the one slinging the pee. Okay? I'm the one pitching it. Amen? Praise the Lord. But I'm cool with that because the one thing about Christ, at least in my opinion, in my perspective, and my interpretation, is that Christ met people where they were. He didn't wait for them to get to, you have to get to this level in order for you to be healed. No, he met people where they were. That's real love. To meet you and love you for who you are and who you are not. And it's not my job. I know they were saying, love the sinner, hate the sin. Or we could just simply love and let love do its job. Or we could just do that and let the objective truth reign. Because what's fake is going to be exposed and what's real is going to be highlighted. And in the age of Aquarius, all these false, impenetrable, structures and things that we believe is going to keep us safe or in our little bubble. I heard somebody said, I'm going to keep my child in the bubble. You might not want to do that. You might want to strengthen your child to stand 10 toes down on who they are, because collectively, as far as humanity is concerned, everybody bubble about to be busted. Everybody about to know what it feels like to be a nigga. Everybody about to know what it feels like to be a fagate. Everybody about to know what it feels like to be a hoe in remission. That's why when he said, do unto others as you want them to do unto you, that shit's real. And in these institutions, these false institutions, or shall I say, institutions that were hijacked and manipulated to oppress people, sometimes I'll be like, girl, am I going too deep? Am I going too deep? We gotta go deep. We definitely have to go deep. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yes, I do squeeze his hand and had another one in the backseat on the way to the hospital. Okay? Well, let me go ahead and read these points real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and leave y'all. And again, I'm going to sleep good tonight. I'm going to sleep good tonight. Okay? Now, I'm going to actually read all my notes, really. Just kind of skim through them. I had two questions that I wanted to ask the people on the platform because, again, I'm trying to understand their perspective. So if this is a dialogue, this is not an interrogation. You know, this is not a one-sided interrogation. This is a conversation. So both people have to engage in the conversation. But one of the questions I was going to ask was, speaking of the children, if a child has expressed or has been discovered to be queer, any on the spectrum of LGBT, why do you think a lot of parents try to make their queer child straight through conversion therapy and religious counseling? Why is that? Why not just have another child? And again, the video that Black Men Unfiltered and them is going to use in their next live later on tonight is a woman who is again part of the scientific community, again being unbiased and looking at it from an observant perspective and the results, that even with men, the more that women have children, women have males and boys and stuff like that, you keep having sons, eventually the variations of life is going to come into place to where now you're going to have a queer child. Now they're saying that there's not no gay gene, but there's not a heterosexual gene either. That there's a mystery on both heterosexual and queer, and that's coming from the video they're going to use tomorrow, or today, shall I say. So we're just learning how to honor the variations of it, because there is a possibility that you will experience the variation of that. How are you going to handle the variation that life has dealt you? And instead of a lot of us being fear-based and oh my God and all this other type of stuff, some parents actually educate themselves and have conversations with other parents, which I think would be very beneficial for the parents to have conversations with other people who have queer children, and for them to go ahead and have the conversation as far as how did you deal with the fear? How did you deal with the possibility of people calling you or saying that you're not a man or that you failed somewhere as a father? Like, to talk that shit out. And when I do go visit my parents in Indiana, I'm going to make sure to do more lives with them so that if there's any people who may have questions for parents of queer children, that they can sit down and talk to those individuals and figure out more of the perspective, not just a one-sided perspective, but the totality of it. If we're doing proper analysis, according to this book, that is somebody who looks at the complete picture and then will be able to have the truth, the objective truth. Okay. The other question I had was, why is it that, and this was very interesting, why is it that a lot of those who are extremely anti-queer and vocal about it, a lot of the times are self-loathing, repressed queers themselves, such as Eddie Longstroke, Wes Goodman, Richard Curtis, Roy Ashburn, etc.? Like, why is that the case? And I shared this example earlier when I did my Instagram live, before the live, like the pre-show. I remember one of my other bullies, his name was Christopher. He was this tall, light-skinned dude. He had freckles and stuff, and his nose was always sweat like a damn dog or something. He would stay fucking with me all the time, fucking with me, calling me all type of names, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, whatever the case may be. So I remember, of course, the school that I went to at the time, I was waiting for my mother to pick me up in the parking lot. And Christopher normally walks past the parking lot and walks down the street to his house or whatever, because he lived a few blocks away from me. And we would normally go back and forth talking to each other as far as cussing each other out and stuff like that. And I said, one day I said, well, that's why your mama a bitch. Now, you know, when you talk about people mama, I don't give a fuck who you is. You gonna whoop somebody's ass. Because one thing about black men, a lot of them, they love their mama. Okay, they love their mama because their mama ain't gonna judge them. They love their mama. He said, what you say? I said, you heard me? Your mama a bitch. He came across the parking lot and slapped the shit out of me. Normally when I got jumped and bullied and stuff, I would cry, I would feel insecure, I would feel scared. At that point, I chose insanity. Y'all remember the movie, A Christmas Story, when Ralph got sick and tired of his bully and started beating the dog walking this motherfucker to where the nigga nose was bleeding and he was crying and he was cussing? That was me. I don't know what the hell happened, but I tore him down, had him shocked to the point to where I can hear my mom pulling up, brakes, scurrying. God, oh my God, Bubz, Bubz, stop. And I'm going off. Crying. After a week, because he got suspended, when he came back, the nigga was my best friend. And guess the fuck what? I've discovered later on in life that he was gay his damn self. It's kind of like when some boys be hitting on girls and shit because they don't know how to express that they like them. But I'll hit you though, because that's what I've been taught to do. The same thing, so it's very, very weird. Parker says, question, Bubz, what college did you attend? I attended Wayne State University for a little bit. I didn't finish, but I went for music theory, and then I transitioned to film and media productions. So, but I didn't finish. But I took some classes too, because baby, this book right here, I was like, okay, baby, I'm gonna come from it from all different perspectives, but definitely a scholastic one too, because our ancestors had their motherfucking tongues cut out and eyes removed and stuff for trying to learn the system so they can survive in the system. And I'm gonna honor the wishes and the dreams of my ancestors. So that's why I make sure I do what I do. But I went to Wayne State. Now, I'm gonna speak on the notes briefly, and then I'm gonna be done for real. Okay, I already said about the aggravated sodomy and the Ugandan bill, which I do want a lot of Christian people on that platform to give me their interpretation of that bill. Do they feel like that bill is lawful? Do they feel like that bill is ethical? Do you feel like that bill is upholding what God wants for Christian people to do in reference to fuck, talking to these people, murder these people? Because let's not forget, there was something known as the dark ages of the church, where people, you're talking about killing Christians. There was a point in time where Christians at large were killing people in the name of their Lord in all sick, sadistic, twisted ways. So if we're going to have the conversation, let's have the entire conversation. Everybody going to be triggered. And I'd rather everybody be triggered because we're all humans. Maybe that'll help us all grow. But I talked about that. Someone was saying, I think Kevin said that a lot of people, I don't know if it was Kevin or somebody said that a lot of people who grow up to be queer grew up without a father in their household. But if we look at the statistics and research, there are heterosexual people who grew up in a one-parent household by their mother, and they are successful, healthy, vibrant men that are married and have children. I have a cousin right now who are twins. Their name is Christopher and Christian. Okay, they both was raised by a single mother all of their life, and actually it's three children. It's my cousins who are twins and their other brother. All of them have been raised by women, and all of them are in successful relationships, and my two twin cousins are married to women. So, I think the love and affirmation of a father to their child, regardless of their sexual identity or gender expression or whatever orientation, I think that's important. Because even, let's break it down. Let's break it down a little bit more. Even in the realm of queer dating, they always say, like, for in the heterosexual sense, that a man is their daughter's first love because their father is supposed to teach their daughter what to look for in what they would consider a man, which will be a respectable person that will protect and provide and literally put his life on the line for you if need be. How do you then teach gay men how to be able to attract a partner that does the same thing? Because I have my father in my life, and because of my experiences with queerphobia, I'm very observant of my surroundings. I make sure to get my CPL. I don't play any games with reference to my self-defense. I don't use any of this stuff to be on the attack and be overt. I mean it, again, in the realm of self-defense, of self-preservation. So it's kind of like, even in my own dating experiences with other Black men, because I love Black men. I don't love all of y'all in that way. But for the gay ones, I love them in that way. Okay, because again, I like feminine men. Okay, but in my experiences in dating, when they meet, because they dealt with fuck nigga after fuck nigga after fuck nigga, being used and abused, used for sex, used for money, and all these other things, not being acknowledged for who they are, when they meet me, and because I am a cisgendered male who is same gender loving, who embraces his divine masculine and divine feminine energy, I'm able to be in the present moment and be totally aware with them. And guess what? A lot of them become afraid of me because they've been taught, or their experiences have taught them, or gave them the perception that, oh, nobody can really love me, care for me, or that, oh, this gay thing must be wrong then, until they meet me. Now I'm the one getting ghosted. I'm the one that's being left on red, and I'm the one showing up in the right way, or the way I want someone else to show up for me. So again, for children, the affirmation of your parents, the love and acceptance of your parents, is the first place where you should learn love anyway. And I get it. There will be scary things that will happen in the whole experience with family that might have you shook. Do you have the mental and emotional capacity to go through these hard times to get to a place where you can learn to love and affirm your child? Even though I'm ignorant, even though I don't know, I'm still going to make a choice to love you. Even though I may slip up, even though I may have my moments, I still love you. And do you love me enough to go with me through that journey? There's a responsibility on both ends. There's people who use the scripture that says, oh, children, obey your parents so that your days may be long. But it also follows it up and completes it by saying, parents, don't provoke your children to anger. So there's a responsibility on both parts. Okay. Let's see. Procreate, but shout out to Beautifully Animated. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Baby, it was amazing. She kind of took my talking point as far as that gay people can conceive children. No, we agree. I mean, yes, we agree. Two men cannot come together, at least right now. But organically speaking, cannot come together and procreate and have children. Two women cannot come together and two males cannot come together and procreate and have children. Two females cannot come together and procreate to have children. But there are other variations of that. And just because it's not the conventional way of doing it, it does not disrupt or devalue the person, especially if the purpose of that person having the children is to pour love into them. And look at the foster care system, which the gays did not contribute to. Because remember, we can't have the kids, right? Y'all can. So there are heterosexual people who are not even taking care of children, or are not in the right space and place to take care of children. And there are queer people who are self-aligned, who are willing to pick up the slack that even heterosexual people couldn't deal with. Again, community. Let's see. They brought up the Kinsey scale and what he did. Fuck that nigga. Okay? Any people that is out here, whether you are hetero or homo, that is sexually abusing children, that is enforcing your will upon children, that is horrible and it needs to be called out. Call those individuals out. The people that you feel, that you not feel, that you know and can verify that are doing that, call them out so that they can face justice. The broad generalizing and saying, well, queer people do this and the homosexual manifesto said this. I don't remember ever having to put my left hand on the manifesto and my right hand up swearing to God that I'm going to uphold what's in this manifesto. If I was really into that when he was reading the manifesto, I would be able to say it verbatim, because apparently some of these people believe that we just say this stuff so much and memorize it so much that we're actually doing it. I mean, he should have been able to say the stuff, and I should have been over there mouthing the words as he's talking as if though I'm saying it. So you have people in all groups who are going to be on the lower vibratory scale of life and their energy. And we have to call those people out to help them raise their vibrations. That's why love is the most powerful thing. Love is all that there is. We got to find a way to tap into that, but hold those people accountable. But when they use it as a talking point against queer people, and again, this is just my interpretation by me just being a queer person and looking at historical evidence and even my own experience, still being open-minded, but still being honest in where I am. I feel like that's playing into the oppressor's hands because, again, they're making money off of all of our backs. They hijack the movements of the oppressed people, first of all, to create a narrative and then because they have the money and the resources and the power, so they'll be able to have the influence to be able to inspire or influence people to believe something about a certain group of people. The same thing can be said with black people. White people see flashes of black people on the screen and think, I'm going to stay away from those people. I'm going to stay away from those people, though. The same thing with queer people. The same blueprint is being used on all of us. That's the whole issue and the whole problem. They're making money off of all of us. And now transness is the hot new topic or the new distraction to be used to hide, because I think it was R. Payne, shout out to R. Payne on the panel. He said there are, while we've been distracted about periods and shit, and who a real woman is and all this other type of shit, that really is not affecting our lives. Like, your period still comes. It didn't stop. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey. But there are laws being put into place that's fucking all of us up. And I know some of the people don't want to talk about racism on the panel, and I don't know if it's because we dealt with racism so long, we feel like this is just going to be a forever part of our life. Fuck that. Fuck that. White supremacy was not expecting black people to escape slavery. The Harriet Tubman shit was not part of the plan, nigga. So there are, and to R. Payne's point, black people have been persistent. We have risen all the time like a phoenix from the ashes. Okay. Let's see. Somebody was talking about disrespecting Kevin. For me, I congratulated Kevin on his detransition. Like I said, if that's what you got to do, pimp and do what you do, and do it well. Okay, zoing it and zoing it and zoing it well, right? Let's see. I appreciate Beautifully Animated coming up with her page of the black in front of the white, like the white in the middle. All you're going to see is that black part amongst all this white. But that's still a small part in the actual whole. I mean, that small dot is engulfed in white. So even though the black is all you can see, or that gives the shadow and the highlight and the hue and the 2D perspective, it's still completely surrounded by the white. So when she brought that up, I thought it was very interesting. I was like, okay. And on top of that, I think the small dot would be the thing that Jesus would love too, especially since it's pronounced and it's there. Right? Let's see. I already talked about us playing house. Okay. Talking about choice. Gay people said it was a choice. Let's break that down. I can make a choice on reference to the actions. I can make a choice to approach another man, a gay man, and have a conversation with him. I can make the choice to kiss another gay male. I can make the choice to be intimate with another gay male. That's the choice. I cannot choose the attraction. And no shade to ex-queer people, because again, all things are possible. I'm just talking about certain experiences. Again, from the documentary Pray Away. And fuck that, even with Jackie Hill Perry, who has renounced her lesbianism, but she's honest with it. She says it's still there. The desire to be with the same sex is still there. But she makes the choice, and she considers her sacrificing the actions that come with that She sees that as her penance or her way to connect to God, and that's her journey, and that's fine, and that's cool. But she's honest. And if there are queer people who want to go through that and feel and develop their own personal relationship with their creator in that way, then by all means do that. But there are queer people like myself who understand the cards that life has dealt me and transmuting that shit to make it work for my favor. Because even Reckless on the panel, when he was talking about white supremacy, he said, fuck all. He said, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm a winner. I do all that stuff. So is Saucy Santana. He a winner too, but we talk about him pushing the agenda. So is Lil Nas X. He's self-actualized, but he's pushing an agenda. So did Billy Porter, being able to walk in their truth and walk around in their dress, but they're pushing their agenda. Whenever queer people rise too, there has to be like some sort of back alley thing to it. Why can't I just rise because of my gifts? I mean, y'all been used to pimping queer people of their gifts for a long time. Don't be mad when the queer person used their gifts to ascend. Just like how black people were seen as product for this system, and they went forth in their own freedom and started creating their own shit, and the oppressor said, fuck that, you work for us. Same energetic concept, just a unique expression. Let's see what else. They were talking about self-deletion. Self-deletion is a product of the lack of love and affirmation. I did a live on one of Lance Scarves live, and he was talking about mental illness. And that's why sometimes it's better to just sit back and listen. Just listen, because you can listen and have the spirit of discernment to see who's actually walking in genuine truth or who's walking in fear. And when people are walking in fear and they're using talking points, just shut up and listen. Just take a moment and be quiet and actually listen to what they're saying. They will literally tell on themselves. You can't make this shit up. He ended up reading an article talking about mental illness, and he didn't even read the article beforehand. He just saw it and said, I'm going to use this mental illness because I know it's a mental illness. And he read what mental illness was. Mental illness develops when there is a lack of affirmation and love. People can get pushed into the darkness and don't know how to come back from that shit, to where mentally and emotionally they are fucked up and they are scarred. Okay? Mental illness are things like depression, anxiety, things that affect your mind and your emotions that do not benefit you as a person, to where you don't find quality or value in your own life. And those mental illnesses can lead to deep, severe depression or ideations and actual completions of self-deletion. There are black cis hetero men, biological men, who also are unaliving themselves at large rates too, because their quality of life is not being verified, not being acknowledged, not being loved, not being appreciated. I watched a video of Jermaine Dupri. I forgot who he was talking to. I think he was talking to another black therapist, another black man, cis hetero black man, I think, at that. And he was saying, damn, I can't even really say how the fuck I feel as a man and express my emotions without people talking about it or making fun of me or something like that. All these trap ass niggas who be talking about the murder shit or whatever, if you listen to their entire project, they do have songs where they're talking about their pain. Why do you think they end up popping mollies and popping perks and sipping lean? It's to numb all this shit, because society says that once I get this money, once I get this recognition, once I get this power, once I get this hyper visibility, that my life is going to change for the better. Yes, your life changed for the better outside of you. You have more money, which means in this system, you're able to buy your time back. Okay? But the problems get bigger. What did they say? The more money we come across. Oh, girl, my vocals off today. The more money we come across, the more problems we what? We see. So again, self-deletion and stuff, that happens because people's qualities of life are not being honored and validated. And that self-deletion ideation can knock at any of our doors at any time. Okay? Let's see. Depopulation. I think I spoke about it earlier. I do believe there's a government agenda to depopulate the human race. That's why they want the division so much, because we can inadvertently play into it by also participating in the whole depopulation situation. Black men killing other black men, black women killing other black women, human beings just really killing human beings, because at the end of the day, the system that's oppressing all of us, again, I feel like it's one conglomerate of people from all different places that have one certain perspective. They have a certain ideology in mind that they want to accomplish. And baby, when the bombs hit again, it ain't just hitting the gays and the black. It's gonna hit all of us as Americans, really as human beings, if you really want to talk about it. Because there's an attack on humanity. At this point, I feel like the aliens have come to help us, bitch. Black people was talking about, oh, there's gonna be a certain time where black people about to have their superpowers activated. At this point, Scotty, come talk to the black leaders. Okay? Right? Martians, come talk to us. Okay? We the ones need some help. Y'all here? And no shade. This could be some manifestation of some supernatural shit, because the Bible's supernatural, and all these books and Greek mythology of all these gods that interceded and dwelled among humanity. Maybe they, I don't know. But something needs to change. And if we need intergalactic help, God damn it, I'm sending out a beacon right now. Okay. Sex education. They brought up the books, the explicit books, which I would like to know the name of these books so I can read them for myself. I just want to know things for myself. I don't take everybody's word for shit. I study and show myself approved. I know it's difficult. I know it takes a lot of work and of mental and emotional stuff, and we live in a society where things are going too fast to where it feels like we can't sit down and really figure this shit out. That's why community is important, because we work together. Everybody ain't got to do all the work. We can be able to righteously and rightly divide our work up. That's a workload for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But the sexual education books. Again, who are going to educate queer youth or teenagers about safe sex? Maybe the reason why HIV and AIDS could be, one of the reasons why it could be higher among queer people, especially men who perform same-sex acts, is because when you grow up not feeling loved and appreciated, you start looking for love in other different places. And when it comes down to sex, it's an intimate act. I don't even have sex like that. If I have sex, it's with an individual who I trust, an individual who is aligned, an individual that I can be vulnerable with and intimate with, an individual who's really about substance. That's why you shouldn't have sex with everybody. SEX, sacred energy exchange. You can't share your energy with everybody. That's defiling your temple. Only those who are willing to worship at the temple for real, are worthy to be on your temple, in your temple, or you're in their temple. Okay? But who's going to teach people how to righteously do that? And then gay men going through all this stuff about not being loved and affirmed, and now you're telling me that when we have sex, I have to put on a condom too, when I really want to feel all the love? Because let's be real, we've all had raw sex before. I have, and baby, that's probably why my ass had a self-deletion ideation shit back in 2018, because a motherfucker put it down on me so good to where my teeth was dry. You know, teeth supposed to stay wet. Okay, I went from 5'2" to 4'8", baby. Just like how men love ass, love pussy. Ass is. Let me tell you something. As a top, I can sympathize. Okay, I know the pussy is good for men, baby, and for the gay men, ass is good. For some of them, dick is good, but for me, ass is good, baby. Put it on me. But how do you, whether we want to accept it or not, and again, to the point that one of the biological women on the women's show said, we live in the information age where children are seeing everything. You have children who are on TikTok 7, 8 years, 9, 10 years old that's doing TikTok dance. I just want to and twerking and shit like that, the city girls and stuff. And it's the top 10 songs on TikTok as far as viral sounds. So they're learning the sex. And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure the older men had moments where they were trying to do sexual stuff with the opposite sex that would be considered inappropriate during their age. I'm sure they done grabbed on a few titties, a few asses, and I know y'all niggas was slow dragging during those red light basement stuff. I know the shit that was happening in the back in the day, damn it. I love old school music and I have an old soul, so I pay attention. Y'all was doing all that type of shit. But, and I've even said this on TikTok to the parents. Okay, so you don't want teachers and stuff teaching your children about sex. Okay, if you have a queer child or a queer son, they come to you and say, the birds and the bees talk, but it ain't the birds and the bees, it's some other shit. Are you as a parent gonna go buy gay sex books that talks about healthy same-sex sexual practices? They have gay Kama Sutras that are more spiritual to make you be one in tune with your partner, and that's the type of shit I want in my life. I'm 32 years old. I want some grown, secure, and sexy sex. I want to feel like Kim. I think about the day. I want the sex to be so good. I put on a whole Stacey Adams outfit from K&G and shit with the goddamn Uncle Barbecue shoes to match, sandals. Okay? I want that. But are you going to go and educate yourself about the queer sex so you can tell your son that, or are you going to, or do you think because it's sex and you consider it feminine, do you think your wife should teach your son about this since your wife deals with penises? And if your daughter is lesbian, do you think the father should talk to their lesbian daughters about lesbian sex since they both dealing with the coochies? Like, there are ways around this. But it's interesting because whenever the queer narrative is inserted as far as queer sex and queer existence in reference to sex, now all of a sudden it's deemed inappropriate, it's deemed negative, it's deemed destructive. And if we're going to remove sexuality as a whole, I want to know if the heterosexual community is really going to be committed to doing that. Because there has been a lot of performative stuff in reference to what people say and their actions don't line up with it. So it's just very interesting to me. What else we got? Let's see. I got a few more. And we done. What time is it? Oh, Lord, I'm sleeping good. I want to ask the question, what do they feel is indoctrination in reference to queerness? How do you believe queer people recruit people? And I want people to break it down for me like I'm an idiot. Because apparently, from some people's perspectives, because I am queer, there is a blind spot that I am unaware of. So they're going to have to break it down for me. Hopefully they do that. I would talk about black people becoming one and doing their own thing with Black Wall Street and look what the fuck happened to that. Again, back to gays are recruiting. Gays could never ever match the level of recruitment that organized religion and Christianity has, because Christianity is, I think, the world's largest religion. And I think the Islamic faith is the runner-up. Yeah, people come to church and have them join the church. And then kind of peer pressure them to join the church. and guilt trip them to join the church and to manipulate their energy to go, to join the church when they should feel like they should join the church based on their own organic response to it. So, who really recruiting out here? Baby. Also, what parents have to understand, and there was a chapter in this book that I read, one of these spiritual books, called The Messages of Crying, and they were speaking about, they had a section about children. And listen, no shade. Children are not your conduits to live vicariously through. First of all, your child didn't ask to be here. You brought him here. But they also have ownership and agency of their own experiences. Dr. Nakumbe, when he gave his clinical perspective about the whole children, when they were having a conversation about if I would disown my children if they were gay, whatever, and literally laid down that foundation as far as, yes, your job as a parent is to be able to protect your children and to give them a strong foundation to build upon. Your job as a parent is to help them build a foundation, and it's the child or the individual soul or human being who came in this experience by themselves, leaving by themselves. It's their job for them to go forth and to build upon that foundation. So even children, and we have no problem with children when children say, "Oh, Daddy, I want to play the piano," or "Daddy, I want to play I want to be a ballerina," or "Mommy, I want to be a football player," or all these things. We have no problem setting those things up. But when it comes down to queerness and gender expression, they don't know. Even though children are fresh from God, children already ain't got no filter. They come in this world. Have you been watching the videos recently of these infant babies that be cussing their parents out? They be sitting there talking, "Ooh, yeah, you bitch." Wait, hold on. "Ooh, the nigga." There are people who are recording their kids, these C19 babies coming in. They got babies now who coming into the world looking like this. I'm back in this bitch again. I'm back here. For real? For real? People think they understand things about spirituality, but that's the thing about spirituality. There is no, "Oh, I get to this point and I've made it." No, spirituality really means that I'm going to be evolving every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, for as long as I'm here to learn. That's what true spirituality is, to be a student of life. Yes, there are going to be certain things that you are going to be a master in, but you're not going to be a master at everything in life. So I think we should allow children to be honest and to be themselves. Again, if we were to remove sexualization from both the hetero and homo perspective and allow children to be children and organically be themselves, what will y'all then say if the child is queer? That there was some influence somewhere that we did not catch? A lot of single black women have successfully raised kids. Like Ari said, it, they can teach their sons to be a man as far as the social construct, but they can teach her son to be a good man to a woman or a partner. And also, I want to give honor and admiration to the single fathers out there and the black men out there who are doing what the fuck needs to be done as a parent. I commend y'all. I have an amazing black father. And it was because of our experiences and our journey and love being the conduit and the thing to get us through it. Because there was a point in time where I had a very bad relationship with my father. And that was established through a very homophobic incident that shook me to the core, to where it's like, nope, I can't tell you everything. Meanwhile, well, you talk to your mom about stuff. Why don't you talk to me about stuff? Because you're not ready to listen and hear me. And why would I waste my time talking to you when you already got your mind made up? But because he went through the fear and was able to transcend and to better himself, we're able to have difficult conversations, and our relationship has strengthened even more to where I'm 32 years old, he's 60 something. I'm learning to be more present in my parents' life because I'm not going to sit up here and act like they're here forever. They're getting up in age, which means eventually there will come a day where they will not be here anymore. And I don't want the last moments to be the shoulda, coulda, wouldas when we can just love on each other right now. If you want to know more about my career experiences as a child, again, I have videos. My YouTube channel really is here to inform. The evidence is there, the stats are there, the information is there, the time, effort, and quality is there. I implore y'all and encourage y'all, okay, to please go take time out to study for yourself. I have a whole live talked about what about protecting the queer children, and I speak about my queer existence and what I've been through as a queer person. From the homo's mouth. Okay. And last, but definitely not the least, which I feel like is the most important, save the best for last, right? I believe there is an opportunity for Blackness to actually manifest in a healthy, monolithic way that honors everybody. One rule about occultism that I've learned is that in order for someone to put a spell on you and for it to work, they have to implement some form of truth, even if it's a little. There has to be some truth in there because they need you to believe it. They use the fear as a way to narrate or control where you look at it. You ain't gonna see the objective truth, but you're gonna see the objective truth is there, but they don't want you to focus on that part because then you start asking questions. They want you to focus on other things so that they can do it to you. But what they don't understand is that when you put the objective truth out there, and even though it's hidden in plain sight, there's still the opportunity for people to see the fucking truth. And there's been many instances throughout humanity, and particularly in Blackness, dealing with African Americans who have dealt with the American experience of being Black. Again, energetically, where we are with the 60s and 70s, we literally are at that place again, where Black men were choosing to live and not survive. To where Black music talked about Black love and Black men were loving on their women and vice versa. And even the queers in the middle, baby, because y'all let Sylvester ask, you make me feel. Our creative energy was crazy. Y'all was smoking weed hella crazy. And y'all was coming up with amazing compositions and shit. Y'all was making amazing music. Y'all spoke about spirituality and consciousness and rising and ascending. Look at Earth, Wind, and Fire. They were all about African principles. Y'all was wearing all type of tight ass shit, all type of crop top shit. After this live, search on YouTube, Heat Wave, Always and Forever on Soul Train. The outfits y'all niggas was wearing, if niggas was wearing that outfit back in today's time, like they was back in the day, y'all would call them niggas gay and pushing the whole gay agenda. Meanwhile, y'all the ones sitting there with your dick print on the side and shit in these tight ass leotards and shit. Now, I don't know, it's because as you grow older, not for me, but for some people, the chest turns into titties. The stomach done lapped over the stomach, and the waist goes from a 30 to now a 48. Y'all been taking the goddamn SRTs or CRTs. Y'all the ones literally turning into trans women in front of us because y'all titties is drooping. Y'all stomach, y'all having all this extra muscle and fat and tissue stuff growing. And the thing about it is that, no shade, the youth is always going to be better than the old generation. That's the point, right? There will come a time, God willing, if I live long enough, there will be the next generation that will be smarter than me, that will be more self-actualized than me, that will be more aligned than me, that will be able to take what others before them have laid for them and push it to higher heights. But we got to also allow them to do that. And even though there were older people on the platform tonight, I appreciate that because we do need the wisdom of our elders. We do need the experiences of those who also lived the past and the history so that we don't continue to keep repeating it as a present day society. So I'm ready for heaven. I'm preparing for hell. And I'm learning how to exist in purgatory. Because all of us, under the umbrella of humanity, are going to have to face these things. And instead of dividing ourselves up and complaining about our own shit individually that's affecting all of us collectively, maybe we should work on the collective part. And once we work on the collective part, watch how things change, but also understand that once unity is called for and is manifested, the powers that be are going to throw everything at us. There are no shade. I'm not saying all white people, but for those who benefit from the society, it's built for white people. No shade. It wasn't built for black people. It was built for white supremacy. And I'm not with supremacy in any form or fashion. I'm all about equality and equity. But you already got Peter, Tanner, Beth, Becky, Lil Susan, Lil Abigail, Lil Mike, all those people, baby, they ride horseback from 3 to 5 and from 5 to 7. They in the field shooting shit, hunting shit, setting up traps. They have they're ready. Because even white people and white supremacy play into the hands of the oppressor because the oppressor oppresses everybody, even their own. To where I feel, and I hope we don't get to this point, but the era that we're in now, what if a civil war happens? What if civil unrest happens on a large scale? Because America is due for an ego death. And there's no way we can escape it. We're going to have to find a way to survive it together, but there's no way to escape it. Some people believe shit going to be burnt down, and it might be. Some people feel like people are going to lose their lives, and it probably will happen. And when we finally get to that point where we manifest revelations, a lot of us are going to gag. Because the objective revelations that are going to be presented is that humanity had the opportunity to get its shit together. And here we are yet again choosing to play into the bullshit. Because again, when the bombs drop, we're going to have to take accountability and responsibility for the bombs dropping. Because we spent so much time arguing with each other over bullshit that we have completely made the choice to not pay attention to the shit that's affecting all of us. And going forward, and I don't want to do this because I'm not really about confrontation, but because of the mandate on my life and one of my gifts and talents in reference to advocacy and my expression, as far as one of my creative expressions, I'm going to call fear out. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to make it simple. I'm going to make it plain. And I'm prepared for all of the pushback. I've even had scary conversations about what could possibly happen to me physically. But unfortunately, it seems like freedom has to be paid with the price of blood. But it's not just going to be my blood, though. No shade. Let's see. The last one, Parker says, as well as the many wars fought for Rome, the Catholic Church, in the name back in Christianity. Yeah. I want for... one of the principles or one of the examples or I guess key components from the art of war is that you're supposed to know exactly what your enemy knows. And in organized religion, there's a lot of fear there. That people are afraid to go into the dark. Not because they're afraid of the dark. They're afraid of what's in the dark. Not realizing that when God, source universe, created everything, it started out of darkness. What happened to God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. What about, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall not fear no evil, for thou art with me. But for some people, because I'm queer saying this, the enemy knows scripture. And for those who say that, if that is the case, how is it that the enemy knows more scriptures? They can use it better than you. What does that say about your walk? What does that say about your faith? And if that's how you feel, maybe you should get into your prayer closet and pray and ask God, source universe, to make it make sense to you. Because maybe God is the only one that can. No shade. But yes, I will be in the building tomorrow. And I'm going to keep my promise on it. If it's about community, I'm going to be about community. So these black spaces and even the future black spaces that I will go to, we're going to make our way. We're going to make our way. Okay? So, again, shout out to those who came through, those that were in the bushes, those in the replay games. I appreciate you. Shout out to Lala. Shout out to Parker Boy. Shout out to Vaughn Bryan for being in the building. I am so glad that there are people who are coming from other platforms that are coming over here. That's how you build community, camaraderie, all that type of stuff. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Vaughn, for facing the fear. I really appreciate you. Tanika, thank you for coming through. El Teddy, thank you for coming through. Scotty, which I'll be seeing Scotty next week. He's coming to visit me. Shout out to Deshaun. Shout out to Roki. Shout out to Teresa. I gotta check that CashApp, baby. You got me excited in the mud. Shout out to who else? Shout out to Aries. Shout out to King Anubis in the building. One of these days, I gotta find a way to do a live with him. Like, I be feeling so bad. Like, he be so busy and he got other shit going on. So I know eventually it will come to pass. But shout out to you. Shout out to Aries. I think I said that. And that's it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Can I pull up my shit up here? Can I do my? Oh, I can't. Can I? Do I have my shit here? Oh, I got my shit here. I should have started with this. But yeah. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, peace and love. BubzDaGawd signing out. Love never dies. Just choose to be born.